What happens when the supervillain defeats the superhero, kills him dramatically in front of the city? His teammates try and help, but it's too late. The villain picks them off one by one by one, until one hero remains, the last one, forced to face a monster that he doesn't quite understand. And even if he wins, if he defeats the supervillain, he has to rebuild a team full of freaks and monsters, people who don't want to be superheroes, but he has no choice. This is the Ghostverse. I left timestamps for each episode down below, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. For 10 years, Mega City was a bastion of hope, protected by incredible heroes with awe-striking powers. Even though they fought villains, gods, and monsters, the heroes always won. Until he came to town. One by one, the heroes started disappearing. Armor Man, Tarantula, the Human Bat, Katana Girl. Even Mega Punch, the invulnerable hero who can fly faster than a bullet, disappeared all the same. They weren't kidnapped. They weren't trapped in another dimension. They were dead, and the only thing they had in common was him. The thing in the sewers, in the pipes, in the walls. The painted man. At first, people thought the heroes were on vacation or something. It wasn't unusual for Mega Punch or the Human Bat to get sucked into a wormhole. But then Mega Girl and Tarantula disappeared, and then Armor Man and Katana Girl, and where are they disappearing to? He didn't make himself known like the other villains. He didn't have a big plan, a death ray, a motive. His only desire seemed to be seeing if he could kill them. And on the cold night of a city without heroes, Ghostman woke up finding himself to be the last hero in the city. Ghostman was never supposed to be the only hero in Mega City. He didn't look the part. He wore a white suit and some sunglasses. Not exactly the Human Bat's Kevlar or Tarantula's bright, skinny tights. The thought of the whole city's residents looking to him alone for help made him uncomfortable. Plus, his powers, speaking to ghosts, blasting the ghost to move himself through space, and using ghost skin to make himself transparent, weren't exactly A-list. The weakness of the blast, the farther they got away from his body, his lack of people skills with the ghost, and the struggle of being transparent for more than 30 seconds made him more of a C-list villain than a hero. But Ghostman never turned villain. Still, he was a loner. Big heroes almost never talked to him. So when the ghost of Katana Girl walked into his office screaming, he was surprised. "He's awful, Ghost. So awful." "Katana, you're dead." "We're all dead, Ghosty. He killed us all." "Killed? Even Mega Punch? But he's invulnerable." "I know. I don't know how he did it." Ghostman's stomach filled with ice. "But he's what got me into being a superhero in the first place." He looked at his desk. The one frame picture on there was with Mega Punch. He'd invited Ghostman to an all-night diner after they saved the mayor's daughter from Mephisto's graveyard. He was the only superhero who really tried to be his friend. But Ghostman didn't have friends. "You have to kill him," Katana Girl's ghost said. "I can't. No ghost walker who knows the reality of death could possibly." "I get it, and I respect that about you. But him, he's different. The only thing that makes him happy is seeing people die, Ghost. It's..." Even though she was dead, she shuddered. Ghostman shuddered too. He'd never seen Katana Girl afraid like that before. Then again, he'd never seen a hero as powerful as her dead. "Okay," Ghostman said. "Where's your body?" It never rained in Mega City, which was why Ghostman didn't bring an umbrella and why he was soaked in the downpour of unexpected rain. "I thought you fellas went extinct," the police chief said, walking with Ghostman to the body. "Found Katana Girl about an hour ago. So sad. You know she went to my niece's birthday party after she spent all night saving the city from a serial killer? Ah, hell. I can't believe she's gone. The best thing we can do is find her killer." Ghostman scanned the scene. He didn't see anything. No body. where the chief pointed. Katana Girl's body was up in a tree. Ghostman didn't have a weak stomach, but even he shuddered. Katana Girl's ghost materialized next to him. How did he overpower you? Your katana surely should have kept you. No, Ghosty, you don't understand. She started smiling. Ghostman forgot that before she was a hero, Katana Girl was an actress. My katana, I gave it to him. I wanted to. Did he mind control you? Did he use magic to? No, Ghosty, I wanted to give it to him. Ghostman turned around. This was a setup. What? Why do ghosts come back from the dead? They come back because they have unfinished business in the world of the living. Usually someone they want to help. Yeah, but the person I wanted to help wasn't you. Ghostman shuddered. This was a setup. See, I didn't get you over here for you. She looked sad as she faded into the shadows, the place where ghosts go when they finish their business. I did it for him. What? All my life was violence and blood. He showed me I didn't need to fight anymore. You don't have to either. Being a superhero is futile as being a grain of sand against the ocean. You wanted him to kill you? The world is so much more peaceful after death. You'll see. A cold voice scratched against Ghostman's mind. All your friends are gone. You're all alone. Why don't you just give up? Out of the shadows, from under a tree, came a man painted entirely black, from his head to his toe. He was painted slick, like he was drowned in oil. Your shadow's coming. Somebody cut me off of your feet. He stalked from under the tree to Ghostman, like he had all the time in the world. This crazy guy killed Mega Punch? You're the last one, you know. Don't you want to join the other heroes through the doors of death? Maybe then they would actually like you. Ghostman took a step back. Chief, he's here. The officers fanned out, but as soon as they looked for him, the painted man melted into the floor. In the rain, his slick, black liquid looked just like a puddle. Ghostman scanned with his hands out, ready to launch Ghost Blast at him when he got up. Why are you killing heroes? Silence. Where is he? The chief said, turning his flashlight on. He's made out of liquid. He's made out of... The painted man rose up from a puddle and threw a dagger of black paint at Ghostman, who went transparent, the dagger passing right through him. The cops fired, but painted man had melted again. Paint spread from his feet into the rain puddles at the feet of the officers. Chief, watch out! And the puddles ate the police officers, melting them into pools of liquid, making the painted man stronger. Ghostman frantically floated off the ground to avoid getting swallowed. They see what you don't, that your struggle doesn't matter. The only true rest is death. No! The painted man materialized out of the water. Ghostman blasted ghosts at him, but the painted man's body morphed, shrugging off the hit like it was nothing. His telekinetic blast could bring down elephants. This guy was strong. And a murderer. Ghostman blasted him again, making a hole in his chest. Was he black paint all the way through, made out of liquid? Strong, but not strong enough. The painted man slid up to Ghostman and put his hand on his shoulder, almost like a friend would. The black paint of his skin stained Ghostman's crisp, white suit. The puddle surrounded Ghostman, trapping him. How does it feel knowing nothing you did mattered? All the struggling, all the lives you saved. Well, just go into my painted body. He seemed relaxed, comfortable, like he had all the time in the world. Give up. The painted man looked at his arm on Ghostman's back. Ghostman went translucent, leaving his clothes solid. The painted man's paint had eaten through his suit and almost touched his skin. Ghostman ran through, passing through the painted man's body. Usually when Ghostman goes through someone's body, he feels their soul, but the painted man had nothing. He was black paint, fluid all the way through. Ghostman fell onto the ground away from Painted Man. He blasted construction equipment at him, spraying road salt everywhere. causing the Painted Man to recoil back.
I thought you just talked to ghosts.
The Painted Man smiled, using his liquid to push the construction equipment far away. Not even close, Ghostman said. Hundreds of ghosts launched out of his arms at the Painted Man, and the Painted Man melted, dodging Ghostman's telekinetic attacks. The black paint spread from Painted Man's feet all across the ground, going towards Ghostman's ankles. Oh, no you don't. Ghostman shot Ghost to the ground, flying up over the patio, landing into Katana Girl's tree. The Painted Man rose through the branches, twisting them slick and black. Wherever Ghostman reached, the wood turned to sludge, forcing him higher and higher in the tree. Painted Man's face stretched across the bark, lips wide, eyes huge. The most powerful people in the world are also the most exhausted. They're so tired, Ghostman. And I'm the only one kind enough to make them sleep. Ghostman went translucent, shot underground, and came up a few blocks away, but the Painted Man was already there, waiting for him. The Painted Man stretched and grew, turning himself into a thin, wispy abomination.
You convinced them to die?
I convinced them to consider it. My paint did the rest. The Painted Man expanded. All they wanted was a break, and now they're dead. Do you know how much fun I'm gonna have when
I'm the last one who's special?
He was the size of a mountain now, a spindly waste of black paint and tentacles stretching from the earth to the sky.
Do you know how much paint there is in a city like Mega City?
Do you know that I don't just control paint,
but all liquid?
Ghostman tried to use Ghost Blast to fly up above the Painted Man's head, but he kept getting taller. His mouth was wide enough to swallow an airplane.
Why?
Why are they not here like Katana Girl was, Ghostman? Because they really were exhausted. They're in a better place.
And you're all alone.
He was bigger, more powerful than ever. Someone like Mega Punch could fight him, maybe, but Ghostman just wasn't strong enough. Once you die, you won't be lonely anymore. I promise. The Painted Man stabbed at him with a sharp tendril after sharp tendril. Ghostman was running out of transparency. The Painted Man was everywhere. He was pushed to his limit. He can't do this. Painted Man loomed over the city, voice sloshing like black waves. I don't kill heroes, Ghostman. I let them kill themselves. And once you join them,
you'll finally understand why.
Ghostman ran away. He wasn't proud of it, but it was the only thing he could think of doing. When he was flying across the city in his underwear, he felt what the Painted Man was saying. He was all alone. The heroes all left him? Back in his office, he changed and tried to contact the ghosts in the city, but many of them were gone, drawn to a big soul right behind him. Hi, Ghosty. Mega Punch looked good for a ghost. He was tall and muscular and a bit pale. If Ghostman had been anyone else, he would have thought he was alive. But Ghostman knew he was dead. How do I beat him, Mega Punch? How do I stop his powers? Mega Punch sighed. I always thought it was a shame you didn't have that many friends. You're pretty funny once you get the whole talking to dead people thing behind you. Did he really kill you? I need to stop him before anyone gets hurt. He doesn't hurt civilians, Ghosty. Just us. He killed 14 police officers trying to get to me. He wants to eat everyone. What? Mega Punch looked confused. But he said everything he told you was a lie. Come on, man. Did you really believe him when he said death was rest? It's strange. He spoke to me when I was fighting him. I was so tired. Paint slid under Ghostman's door. I could have stopped him, Mega Punch said. I almost beat him. He just surprised me is all.
Why would you believe him?
Mega Punch looked at Ghostman, sad.
Because he's right. Every time we save someone, 10 more die. Every victory is meaningless. He offered me the one thing I could never earn. Rest.
The Painted Man's face formed out of ooze, and his shadow went all around the room. Quick, how do I beat him? But Mega Punch wasn't listening. He was lost in his own despair. Ghostman went transparent. The Painted Man's toxic paint stabbed where he was a second earlier.
You can't beat him. The only thing you can do is rest.
He got you, Mega Punch. He's made of liquid. Even if he's strong, he controls everything, but you just couldn't take that he would actually beat you, so you let him tell you a beautiful lie, and then kill you.
The realization hit Mega Punch hard. Ghostman went solid.
And I can't stop him, not without your help.
But Painted Man sliced at him with the blade of ooze. Ghostman went solid at the last second.
How did you almost beat him? Tell me.
But Mega Punch was too stunned to care. Now that I think of it, I don't feel rested. All I feel is guilt.
Do you want to be a real hero?
Ghostman shot Ghost at Painted Man's blades, but Painted Man was faster, and he could only be transparent in short bursts. He was gonna mess up. Mega Punch looked defeated. He dodged Painted Man's laughing claws.
Tell me how I can beat him.
But there's no point. The world's going to be in danger again and again.
That's why we have to be heroes, to save people from monsters like him. Do you want a medal? There's evil in the world, and we're the only ones who can stop it.
The Painted Man cut Ghostman's cheek. He went transparent right before he could get killed. The fire went back into Mega Punch's eyes. That was the hero Ghostman remembered. Salt. He didn't like table salt.
Salt? Die!
The Painted Man slashed Ghostman's leg. Ghostman used Ghost to shoot high in the sky, above the building, above the city. Salt? Salt. Painted Man grew huge and slinked tendrils, coming at him with an open mouth. Ghostman shot through the city, but the Painted Man was everywhere, controlling every liquid. All the buildings, all the rivers were black, full of his body. The only safe place was the ocean. The waves of Mega Beach sounded. There was a storm coming. Ghostman didn't know if he would be alive to see it. Salt, if he went to a kitchen or... No. He called ghosts from all over the city. They came to him like subjects to a king. He used their ghost bodies to form a huge telekinetic bowl, falling into the ocean. The Painted Man was everywhere. He was coming. He was here. Come on, just shunk. The Painted Man stabbed Ghostman through the chest. His transparency ran out. There's a difference between wounds that hurt you and wounds that kill you. Ghostman realized he'd never been hurt like this before. It's for the best this way. After death, you'll be with your friends. Ghostman fell into the sand. He started bleeding. Is this it? Is he dying? No more heroes. No more suffering. Give up. It's easy. That's the difference between you and me, murderer. Using the last of his strength, Ghostman lifted the telekinetic cup of salt water. I never give up. The ocean fell as a crushing wave, salt hissing against Painted Man's body. Each crystal dried him out. The liquid had nowhere to go. It was corroding, melting. Painted Man screamed and tried to slink away, but the water covered him, diluting his paint from solid to acid. He melted into the sand, pulling his body close, trying to stretch toward land and escape, but it wasn't enough.
No, it's not fair. It's not.
Painted Man died. The waves crashed. Ghostman slumped down on the beach, watching the storm come in. And as Ghostman bled out onto the sand, he looked up at the sky. He saw Mega Punch's ghost fade into the blackness alongside him. I'm sorry I lost my way. Thanks for putting me back on track, Mega Punch said, fading to the place ghosts go when they've accomplished their mission. The empty, mysterious realm of death. I'll miss you, buddy, Ghostman said. And Ghostman knew the Painted Man was wrong. He did have a friend. There's a place in Mega City that's neutral ground between superheroes and supervillains. A place they both need, and if they burned it to the ground fighting, they would all be screwed. The only hospital that operates on superpowered beings. Dr. Insane's hospital. Dr. Insane has lived for many, many years, but still looks about 40. No one really knows where he came from, except for the fact that he has a faint British accent and wears a bizarre costume reminiscent of a plague doctor. But he's the one who figured out how to cut through impenetrable skin, how to operate on a man made entirely out of rock. It's simple, really. Dark magic. If there's no cure in the vast medical text that Dr. Insane speed reads every night, Dr. Insane goes into the dark part of his mind. The part you keep buried deep down that doesn't really mind if you kill the person who cut you off in traffic or murder that neighbor that keeps stomping on the apartment one floor above you. The dark side. Through years and years of study, Dr. Insane learned that the dark side is really just a demon inside all of us. A literal demon trying to turn us into psychopaths and send us to demon world after we die, latching onto another person's soul, whispering to them to do bad things forever. But that demon is quite knowledgeable. It knows spells of every variety. Through his vast knowledge, Dr. Insane learned to stop aging. He remembers coming to America, shaking George Washington's hand. The Civil War, the First World War, the Great Depression, the Second and Third World Wars, the advent of superheroes, and the bizarre day where most of them died, all because he lived through it. He wasn't a superhero. Not really. He was just a doctor. He was doing surgery all the while, listening to the dark side to have the spells to heal as many people as he could, hero or villain. But the dark side always threatens to take over. And when it does, God help the world. A man with such knowledge and such mastery of the dark arts could be a problem, an apocalypse with 2 eyes and 1 brain, a god. So when Dr. Insane saw that every superhero was murdered and the only surviving hero was Ghostman, Dr. Insane felt relieved, but he was also deeply afraid. The dark side wanted to take over, to make him join the villains and enslave whoever couldn't run away from this godforsaken city fast enough. Ghostman stumbled into his hospital and fell onto the freshly cleaned white floor with his chest cut wide open, and Dr. Insane sighed. He remembered the oath he took when he became a doctor all those years ago. In England, before World War was even a fantasy, before America was free. I will heal the sick and keep them from harm and wrong. And through all these years, he had never forgotten his promise. Doctor, Nurse Idiot said in disbelief. She had a medical degree from Harvard, but Dr. Insane didn't respect Americans who didn't come from Oxford with less than 300 years of practice. So Nurse Idiot she was. Wow, he walked here. I wonder how he could do it when his heart is... Nurse Idiot threw up on the floor. At this point, Nurse Idiot, the last thing I'd expect in this hospital is for anything to surprise you. My name is Silence and Effort, Nurse Idiot. Silence and Effort. As she loaded Ghostman into a gurney and wheeled him into the surgery room, Dr. Insane tried to breathe. No more heroes, boss, his demon Exaxel said. The demon was only visible to Dr. Insane. It might be time to hang up the gloves for good. Skip town. Oh yes, and then we can wrap ourselves in toilet paper and pretend to be mummies. Get out of here with your sub-160 IQ ideas. You're lost, boss. I got a date with a minxy little succubus that I just want to... Spare me the details, Axel. The demon disappeared in a puff of smoke, and Dr. Insane stepped into the surgery room to find an empty table. His patient had phased through. Nurse Idiot. Nurse Idiot stared at the table, dumbfounded. Where's my dying patient? He, phased through the table and the floor and 2 other floors. He might still be going to the, center of the earth. Axaxel! Axaxel reappeared with a thong made of fire in his hands. Oh yeah, baby. Poke me with your... Hey! Axaxel, I need a spell to bore into the center of the earth and save a man who, against his will, is plummeting towards the earth's molten core and certain death and all that. Well, how do we know the earth is flat anyway, boss? I mean, what do I need to do to get the spell, Axaxel? Some sort of juvenile punishment, I assume? He looked around the room. Get on all fours and make monkey noises. Don't be ridiculous. Okay, fine. I want you to... Axaxel saw Nurse Idiot looking at Dr. Insane like he was completely nuts. Only the person whose demon it is can see their demon, kind of like a really annoying imaginary friend. Tell Nurse Idiot that she's smart. No, oh God, no, for the love of God, I'll do the monkey noises. I will do the monkey noises. He got on all fours. Ooh, ooh, and all that. Oh, yes. No, I like the second idea. Tell her she's smart. Ooh, ooh, The doctor started swinging around the operating room, but it was no use. Axaxel had decided his punishment. All his internists, doctors from all around the world learning from him in the observation room took notes. No dice, boss. Compliment or the transparent albino superhero dies. He turned to Nurse Idiot. He'd rather fight 1,000 demons than give her 1 compliment. You are... Nurse Idiot cringed.
He strained with great effort. He couldn't say it. Suspended? Set free? Secretly a lesbian? Smart. Nurse Idiot burst into tears.
I knew you liked my paper on super speed. I didn't even think you read it, but I just knew it.
Dr. Insane had liked her paper. Sometimes he remembered that Nurse Idiot was actually one of the best doctors in the world. Xaxel whispered the spell into Dr. Insane's ear, then disappeared in a puff of smoke. Dr. Insane's eyes lit up with knowledge. Amaranta discuvius mirati. The ground snapped open, splitting the hospital in two, creating a giant hole boring to the center of the earth, where Dr. Insane saw a faint white figure plummeting towards the earth's core. Xaxel! Xaxel appeared naked and tried to cover himself with a surgery mask. I can control the earth, but he's still transparent. How do I stop his powers? Hi, boss. Take off your clothes and spin around. At least let me keep my underwear on. Don't make me make you give compliments again. I hate you. I hope you die. Dr. Insane did what his demon said, and suddenly gained knowledge of the spell he needed. Nurse Idiot was still crying from the compliment and didn't care that he was probably harassing her in some way. Dr. Insane learned the hard way that trying to explain Xaxel to people was only met with worried stares. And the spells worked, so being known as a crazy guy was a necessary evil. Xaxel whispered the spell to him. Dr. Insane's eyes lit up. Vixirati Nexus Opadopio. Dr. Insane stopped Ghostman from falling and used his earth spell to pull him up to the operating table. Finally. Okay, needle and thread. Now. Dr. Insane got to work, putting the poor boy's chest back together and stitching him up with hundreds of years of practiced precision. Is his heart still beating? Yes. He just has to fight. Dr. Insane touched the boy's forehead. He never liked him. People with death powers reminded him too much of Demon World and the other place. The place the good people go. The place he hoped all the dead heroes went, if he couldn't save them. He hated this part after his work was done. The waiting. He's really the last one left, isn't he? I haven't slept in 3 days and never leave the hospital, so... Right. Well, I hope he's not the last one. Too many funerals is murder on my schedule. So, did I bully you enough to quit yet today? I didn't mean any of the compliments, and I hate you. To his dismay, she smiled. No, I think I'll stay on another day. He put his hand on her shoulder. She was a good kid. She'd make a great doctor. She should leave this place before she ended up like him. I should start calling you Nurse Stupid Face. Doctor, she said. He thought she was chastising him, but she was looking up in absolute terror. He turned around, looking up to the observation deck full of resident doctors. They were dead, vaporized, all of them but one. And a cyborg with a glowing red eye was finishing them off. This must be one of Cyborg Master's creations. Death to humans, one of Cyborg Master's slaves screamed as he went berserk, shooting lasers out of both arms at the defenseless doctors running for help in the observation deck. Cyborg Master was a supervillain recently apprehended by the hero the Human Bat, obsessed with taking disabled homeless people and turning them into cybernetic monsters. He would promise things like them being able to walk again, but instead turn them into mindless soldiers for his quest to turn every human into a cyborg. Cyborg Master had been ripped almost in half by the superhero the Human Bat after he invaded a school for the blind and tried to take the children hostage. And Dr. Insane had run around with his underwear on his head for almost 3 hours before Xaxel gave him the spell to put him back together again. Dr. Insane had spent 12 hours repairing the supervillain's spine, and now his slaves were killing people. For all his years, Dr. Insane felt like the stupidest person in the world. Xaxel! Xaxel reappeared with a sock and a bathrobe on. What? The cyborg slave was going berserk. All organics must die. Spell to neutralize a large physical attacker. Now, give Nurse Idiot a hug. God, you had to do it. He had no choice. God damn it. Dr. Insane hugged Nurse Idiot, and she smiled. Here you go. Poof. Bucacius inus jufascis. Splooge. The cyborg slave got caught in a sticky white glue trap and short-circuited, trying to get himself out. He turned to the terrified doctor and watched the other residents he vaporized to death in the observation room. His hands were shaking. Dr. Insane slapped him on the cheek lightly. Come on, doctor. What's a little blood? What's a little brains to us? We see more horror and pain and suffering than a normal human sees in their lifetime before our lunch break. Are you really going to have shaky hands after that? The doctor shook harder. He was terrified. But my friends... Dr. Insane knew the pain of losing friends. He'd lost hundreds, but right here, right now, he can make a new one. Doctor, that's not good enough. There are so many people out there at the doors of death, and we are the only ones who can save them. You won't. No, you can't give in to your fear now. Because the world needs you. The doctor let out a shaky breath. Nurse Idiot smiled at him. Okay. Good. Now, this is a tragedy, but I'm sure there's some staff around here somewhere. Go and help them. See if I can save them. Yes, sir, he smiled, running out into the hall. Doctor. Just doctor, please. Nurse Idiot was beaming at him. She absolutely adored working here. It was annoying.
I find your teeth disgusting and suggest you see a dentist.
She laughed and followed him out of the surgery room into the hall. He left surgery to find the hospital in absolute chaos. Lasers flew around Dr. Insane's floor, and his doctors and nurses, good people he trained for years, were running for their lives. Dr. Insane tried to summon his earth powers from before, but he'd forgotten the spell. Spells wear off after about a minute. He'd have to prostrate himself to Exaxel if he wanted more spells, but... Look out! The doctor from before, the one he'd inspired, who was on the cusp of becoming great, tackled Dr. Insane to the ground before he was vaporized into dust. Dr. Insane held his ashes and held a scream of anguish deep inside himself and turned to face the murderer. But there were too many killers for him to count. So much for neutral hospital. So much for, I don't care if you save or hurt people. I'm here. You will be healed. For the first time, a villain had broken Dr. Insane's rule. Cyborg Master and his slaves were free. Cyborg Master was a former engineer for GovTech who, like so many GovTech employees, got jealous of the superheroes chosen to get serums and drank a serum himself. He drank a superintelligence serum and became a master of robotics. Unlike the other defects, most of whom were in jail, Cyborg Master had evaded capture by cutting into his own body and replacing it with deadly weapons. Deadly, but so sad. The man was barely 30 and had completely turned into a monster. His army of slaves had come to bust him out of here. Of course, Ghostman was unconscious, recovering for surgery. There were no more heroes to protect the hospital. The way of the old world was gone. Don't you see? Cyborg Master screamed. Dr. Insane thought Cyborg Master didn't have emotions, but he had them now. The cyborg was afraid. His red eyes were almost crying. The painted man is coming for us. There's no escaping him. We must fight with him to survive. We must go back to the law of the jungle. Kill or be killed. Cyborg Master and his slaves were killing with impunity. Dr. Insane had just put his heart back together. All of them knew if they killed here, he would never help them again. And they didn't care, because the heroes were dead, and it was just the doctor and Ghostman left to stop them. The staff he tried to turn away, all the people he'd insulted constantly but still showed up here day after day because they believed, like he believed, that all life was sacred. They were being killed, one by one, killed because of him. Exaxel, please! Come on, Doc, Exaxel saw the chaos. He laughed, pleased. The only thing demons find joy in is chaos, and they like chaos most of all. Groovy, baby! And Dr. Insane had no joke. No remark for him. I need a way to stop all this killing with as little people dead as possible. Please. That's a big ask. Insane. Cyborg Master saw Dr. Insane. His arm turned into a Gatling gun and he started firing. Dr. Insane grabbed Nurse Idiot and dove behind a desk as his staff ran for cover. Ah, you screamed like a girl. Exaxel, please. I'll do anything. Exaxel watched the chaos longingly. Why? If you lose this place, you might actually... Cyborg Master rounded the corner. In a second, he would fire, and Dr. Insane would be dead. Do you think this is a partnership, Exaxel? I beat you. I went all the way down to Demon World and stole your soul key. You're not my friend, you're my slave, and you will do what I say. Exaxel's eyes burned with hate. Kiss, Nurse Idiot. Are you serious? I'm her boss, and I'm about 460 years too old for her. Ridiculous. I want to see it. Fine. He turned to Nurse Idiot. She was horrified. All the pain and suffering. I'm sorry about all this. What? He brushed his fingers against her cheek. He thought she would slap him, but she didn't. She looked into his eyes. I'm so scared. Me too. He kissed her. He can't remember the last time he kissed a woman. It didn't seem fair after all these years. All his lovers, even his children, were long dead. Being immortal on Earth is infinite pain and suffering. He focused on his work instead. But her lips, her warmth lit something he thought could never be lit again inside him. She blushed feverishly. Doctor, Cyborg Master pointed his gun at Dr. Insane. There was nowhere to hide now, nowhere to go. You didn't have to grab her cheek, Doc. Foxy. Noxus Eternus. An EMP emerged from Dr. Insane's lips, making Cyborg Master and all his slaves go to sleep. A sleep so deep they wouldn't wake from it for days. Dr. Insane saw their sleeping faces. He picked up a scalpel still in his hand and went to Cyborg Master. He ripped his faceplate open, revealing the crystal that powered everything. His brain, his soul. He could cut his circuits out. It wouldn't even be killing. All his body had been replaced anyway. Doctor? Nurse Idiot and his staff, the ones who survived, they were all staring at him in horror. The ones who still believed in him couldn't believe what he was about to do. He dropped the scalpel and ran to the surgery room. There was nowhere left to run from the tears, so they flowed. He was alone in the world. All the heroes were dead. His hospital, this city were doomed. Nothing was left but rage and pain and Doctor, Ghostman, his patient, had just woken up. His powers were activated. He glowed with ghosts. He was ready to fight Dr. Insane if he snapped. If Dr. Insane became the monster Saxel so desperately wanted him to be, this hero, the last hero, was ready to fight him. And Dr. Insane said to himself, "Not today." "Ah, Ghostman, how are you feeling?" Ghostman smiled. He put his ghosts away. "Relieved. At least one of us is still alive." He was talking about him. Usually, Dr. Insane objected to being on the side of heroes, but the scales were tipped. The heroes needed numbers, and the city needed saving. And Dr. Insane knew he could keep going. As long as one good man were still alive, he could keep going. Even if the good man was as messy and flawed and broken as he was. All the superheroes are dead, except one. A C-list hero named Ghostman. Ghostman needed help. So with no options left, the last superhero walked into a building no one would ever notice. A small 15-floor office of a logistics company. A messenger bag slung over his crisp, white tuxedo. The security guard stared. "Ghostman, I thought all you hero types was dead." "Not yet." The guard rubbed his hands on his pants. He looked nervous, scared about the heroes being gone. Ghostman didn't blame him. He was scared too. "They're waiting for ya." Ghostman got into the rickety elevator. He looked at the 15 buttons and pressed a floor. 13. Most elevators don't even have a 13th floor. People think it's bad luck, but the people who live on floor 13 deserve all the bad luck they can get. Instead of going up from the ground floor, the elevator went down. Ghostman made his head transparent and stuck it through the side of the elevator, watching the elevator go down past the rock floor, past electrical wiring, weaving between bullet train tubes, electrical wiring, and an old, decommissioned subway tunnel. Deeper, under thousands of tons of fresh water. Deeper, under the water, Ghostman saw a sheet of steel humming with energy. The ceiling of floor 13. The prison for supervillains. As he went transparent through it, the steel buzzed, shutting his transparency off, making him pull his head out and fall down onto the elevator floor. Wow. Floor 13 security was getting really good. He tried to shake off his daze and get to his feet when the door opened, revealing a hero killer. With warm, smooth steel skin and handsome features, Ghostman thought that the hero killers looked more like artistic dancers than robots. But if you cut them open, you can see the wires. They were super strong, super fast, and deadly, designed to kill superhumans. They could rip through reinforced battle armor in 3.2 seconds. Ghostman remembered fighting these things in the war, back when other countries thought they could beat America's superheroes with machines. The hero killer put out his hand to shake. "Ghostman, welcome to floor 13. "I don't shake hands with slickskins. I'm here to see Alexander." The machine put its hand down. It hesitated for one moment and started moving. "Certainly, Apocalypse Man is right this way." "His name is Megaboy." "That was before. When a hero turns villain, they get a new classification in our database in GovTech Media. The Megacity Times called him Apocalypse Man." "I know, Slickskin." They walked past humming steel doors made of the same unbreakable, impenetrable metal that reinforced the walls, somehow resistant to Ghostman's transparency. Inside them were villains that Mega Punch and his society of heroes had put behind bars. A skin hopper named Jessie Jane, who had killed 628 women. She wore a pretty cheerleader's body, but the skin was sagging, melting. "Hi, baby," she shouted. "Just look me in the eyes, baby." "Do not listen to her. Our doors will stop her, but she can hop." "I know. I helped Mega Punch catch her. They walked past a man made of huge, powerful tentacles, more tentacles than man. He screamed in rage when they walked by the door.
Where's Mega Punch? He stole my ocean from me.
Ocean Man, once a hero, but driven insane by the hero's unwillingness to fight GovTech's pollution of the oceans. It had taken every hero in the city to bring him down. He was practically a god. They looked in Ocean Man's cage.
Give me the sea, Ghost Man. Just one drop of ocean water and I can get out of here, delivering a utopia of man and fish, an ocean so powerful that...
Ghost Man pressed the mute button on his cell. Silenced, Ocean Man went crazy, pushing out tentacles, slamming against the door with all his might. The machine hesitated. Wouldn't Ocean Man be more suitable for your goals of restarting the Society of Heroes?
No, he'd just do more harm than good.
But releasing Apocalypse Man, the contingencies alone are devastating. You and Dr. Insane could not...
I appreciate it.
Take me into Alexander's cell. Very well. Ocean Man grew even more tentacles, his human-like face morphing into a giant squid's. He screamed. When he's in the ocean, Ocean Man's even more powerful than Mega Punch. Excuse us, Corporal. Ghostman stepped aside as 6 hero killer robots lined up outside Ocean Man's cell. Let's move along. The doors opened. Ocean Man screamed as the robots started beating him.
You know it's wrong for them to lock me up in here, Ghost Man. We used to be friends. You met my child.
Ghostman balled his hands into fists as the hero killer bots filed into the cell and started shocking him over and over.
The oceans are dying. I'm the only one who can save them. Please.
Shock. The doors closed. The Ocean King sired an heir? I didn't realize.
Don't worry your superiors, Corporal. Ghostman sighed. His kid is dead.
He remembers Mega Punch breaking the sea monster's neck as he washed up onto the beach.
There was no other way, he had said.
He's 6 years old, Ghostman had responded. That was the day Ghostman left the Society of Heroes. And now, Ocean Man was locked up and his kingdom was dying. They say the Ocean King can only sire an heir once every 500 years. And Mega Punch killed him. So many mistakes. They walked past dozens of other villains. Void Man, the Lion God, Siddhartha, Blood Sacrifice, Iman Vask. People and things that could take over or kill everyone in Mega City if they got out. Villains they had pushed themselves to the limit to apprehend. And then they went to the inner wing, the safest part of the prison. It only had one prisoner. We're here. I will go in with you. I understand you have 100% transparent invulnerability, but Apocalypse Man could kill you before you have time to...
I need to speak to him alone.
Respectfully, sir, if I close the door on you, I can't guarantee your safety.
That's fine.
Huh.
I didn't know Slickskins could laugh.
No, it's just... you really don't get it, do you?
He's dangerous. Only Mega Punch can stop him. Mega Punch is dead. I know, but I have to.
No. You're the last member, or ex-member of the society that's still alive. If you die, the last uninterrupted dose of the serum from a willing participant is dead. You are too important to leave in the hands of...
Do you know why I hate Slickskins, Corporal?
The Machine Man looked at Apocalypse Man's door with fear. Deep fear. I can't let you do this.
I hate Slickskins because when people die, they leave a ghost. I can talk to the ghosts. See if they have regrets, if they have messages they want them to send to their family. When Slickskins die, they leave no ghosts. Meaning, they have no souls. The machine took a step back.
Why do you hate us so much? If you heroes had let GovTech police enter Mega City, none of you would have died.
Ghostman's eyes glowed green. Open the door.
Let me go with you.
No. Clang. The machine grabbed Ghostman's neck. He went transparent, going through its circuits. He just had to find the brain wire and... Bzzzt. The same current that pushed away his transparency pushed him towards Apocalypse Man's door. Through several layers of force fields in the cell, Ghostman could swear he saw a smiling face.
What is that? Static electricity? We don't have to do this. I'm on your side. I'm just trying to keep you safe.
Where's the off switch, Slickskin? How do I get you to shut up?
I'll subdue you if I have to. You know, this is putting everyone in Mega City The world in danger.
I guess the only off switch is taking you apart. The machine pushed against the floor, the ceiling, and then jumped kick at Ghostman in the face. Ghostman dodged, rolling across the hallway and facing the machine. He flew to the middle of the hallway and breathed. Thousands of ghosts, lost souls between living and being dead, came to him. He wasn't just Ghostman, he was the king of ghosts. His eyes glowed. Good night. The machine tried to vibrate and dodge a transparency attack, but ghosts flew out of Ghostman's hand, sending the machine tumbling down the hallway. The alarm sounded. Ghostman turned to the door. He knew that once he went into the cell, no one would help him. If this didn't work, if he got out of here, the machines might just throw Ghostman in his cell right next to him. He thought about how the threat laughed as all of Ghostman's friends died. He thought about how he wasn't strong enough to beat him. He pressed the button and entered the room. Force field after force field went down. Ghostman smoothed his rumpled suit and tried to breathe. But he was seeing Apocalypse Man. Being calm was out of the question. Beep. The door opened. Uncle Ghosty! It was so easy to forget that the most powerful superhuman on Earth was still 14 years old. And since he'd been in prison for 6 years, he was really more like 8 years old, severely stunted. He was still wearing his shredded clothes from the last battle, falling apart, but he had a chain around his neck, his arms, his legs, confining him. Alexander ran up to Ghostman, but was stopped by a chain dangling from the ceiling that kept him confined to the center of the room. Hey, buddy. Ghostman stayed at the edge of the room, trying to put on his best older brother smile. You kicked the hero killer's butt! It was so funny! I'm sorry you had to see that, kid. The hero killer wanted to go in the room with us, but I know how you hate robots, so we had a little disagreement. That's okay. It was awesome. He slinked down, using his arm chains as a kind of chair. Alexander didn't have a bed or chairs down here. Ghostman swallowed when he realized the kid was probably sleeping like this, standing up. He remembered holding Alexander in the hospital when he was a baby. His eyes glow green even then. Alexander's mother had died giving birth to him. She was super too. They thought she was invincible. But she knew the risks of having a kid with Mega Punch, and now his dad was dead too. Tears welled up from inside Ghostman and he bit his cheek, trying not to show them. Alexander tilted his head to the side. What's wrong, Uncle Ghosty? Ghostman wiped his eyes with his sleeve and got himself together. Nothing, kid. Nothing. Beep. A slider on the door opened, usually for Alexander's food tray. Inside it was the messenger bag Ghostman carried when he walked in. He must have dropped it in the fight. On the other side of the force field, the corporal robot was looking at them in complete shock. Present! Alexander reached out for the gift, but he was stopped by his chain. Alexander flew off the ground easily as breathing and used all his strength to pull as hard as he could towards the briefcase. He could fly like his father. He was indestructible like his father. He was strong like his father. But that was only the beginning. Even though this place was designed to hold him, the room shook, and Ghostman almost wet himself from the fear. Hey kid, don't worry. I got this. Ghostman grabbed the messenger bag, held it in his hands. I have a present for you. Did Daddy say you could give me it? Ghostman's heart sank, so he didn't know. Daddy's late today. He comes to visit me at 2 p.m., but it's almost 5. Is he fighting a big monster? Ghostman's hands sweat as he held the briefcase. No. But then why isn't he here? It's so weird. Listen, buddy. Is he surprising me? Did he bring cake? It was my birthday a couple times, but Ghostman sighed. He clicked the messenger bag open. Inside it was Mega Punch's costume. Blue, red, and white. A symbol. Daddy's costume? But he needs that. Alexander turned to Ghostman. His eyes glowed gold. Where's Daddy? Kid, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your dad passed away. Alexander stared at Ghostman. Huh, you're being silly. You and Daddy are playing a prank. Where is he? He looked around the empty, white cell. Daddy? Daddy? I'm not kidding, Alexander. I'm sorry. I got the guy that got him, but Alexander's head snapped 180 degrees, looking at Ghostman over his own back with glowing golden eyes. Where's my daddy? Ghostman went transparent as Alexander's neck stretched across the cell, snapping the chain and punching through Ghostman's chest in a sick headbutt. His face was stretched, with glowing gold flowing through the cracks in his face. Where is my daddy? The prison went into alert. He's dead, Alexander. I'm sorry, but the world needs you.
The world needs you to be the new Mega. Give me my daddy back! Alexander's body cracked and clicked, warping. Muscles cracked out and ballooned, stretching Alexander to 9 feet tall. His fingers grew so long they were like talons, and he floated, pulling against his chains in all directions, punching and kicking Ghostman faster than he thought possible. It took every iota of his training to go transparent at just the right time, so Ghostman didn't die. Alexander, I'm sorry, but I need you to get yourself together so we can help people. No! Alexander's skin melted off his body, revealing a glowing pit of black hole energy that sucked everything in the room towards him. Ghostman blasted every single ghost he had to pull away from Alexander, but it was no use. He fell into Alexander's black hole. Ghostman always knew he would die. He had hoped it would be of old age, but he knew better. All his friends were murdered brutally, trying to protect people. But this was not what he expected death to look like. It was a penthouse on top of the tallest building in Mega City, Mega Punch's old house. Before. Ghostman looked out at the ocean view. They were so high up that you couldn't even hear the traffic. Wow. Alexander, wearing his Megapoi costume, sat on the ledge of the building. This is where I jumped off. I still remember Daddy told me that I didn't have any powers, but I wanted to fly just like him. Ghostman remembered the story. He checked the corners of the vision for any signs of illusions. And you did fly. Not that time. I remember. I fell down through the building over there. I think it was an office or something. 67 people died. Daddy covered it up, said that Lurcher or Voidman attacked it. Ghostman never heard that story. Across the city, there was a golden glow, like sunset in the middle of the day. What's happening over there, Alexander? Bad things. This was a memory. Ghostman could see himself in the distance. A memory of the day Alexander lost his mind. A younger Ghostman was fighting with the Society of Heroes, trying to save people from Alexander. The 8-year-old boy's eyes were glowing. He was killing everyone in his path. His dad, Mega Punch, was pulling him away from the people, but he couldn't stop him. Alexander was always stronger than his dad. He just never knew it until that moment. Let's go see. No, let's go see your dad. No! Ghostman sighed. He watched a younger Alexander kill and kill and kill in the distance. Buildings collapsed. People fled. It was the worst mass casualty event in human history. So many ghosts. Look, kid, I know it's not fair that you're so powerful. I wish you could have had a normal childhood. You deserve that. He saw Alexander kill a truck full of police officers. He winced. And you made a lot of mistakes, I get that. But now, because you want me to punch something, you're gonna let me out and everything's gonna be okay, right? Alexander looked off in the distance, bitter. Ghostman watched Alexander get pinned down by his father, Tarantula, Armor Man, the Human Bat, and Katana Girl. The whole society working together to bring him down, to stop an 8-year-old boy. Look, I know it's not fair. And yeah, to be honest, I do want you to go punch something. But listen, I'm the last hero left. What? Yeah, this thing, the Painted Man, he was stronger than even your dad. I think he's stronger than you. And he's not dead. I just know it. Stronger than me? I hope not. But maybe. Then how do I stop him? Ghostman pointed, showing the young Alexander stretching and blasting, but the heroes were fighting him, holding on to him with all their might, beating him like they stopped you. By working together. Alexander sighed. He looked out over the city. For a moment, he looked just like a normal kid. You can talk to ghosts, right? Yeah. Did my dad's ghost ask about me? Ghostman remembered speaking to Mega Punch before he passed on. He'd had regrets. He'd been ashamed. But he hadn't mentioned his son even once. Mega Punch had never been a good father, always saving the world, never being there for his son. He'd visited him every day in Floor 13, but it was probably just to beef up security, keep the threat contained. He justified it to Ghostman, saying, "Great men can also be great parents." Little did he know his great parenting had made his son go berserk and kill 16,000 people. And still, when he died, Mega Punch hadn't even given his son a second thought. He wasn't perfect, but the world needed Mega Punch. It needed it so bad. Ghostman would kill to get Mega Punch. He would do anything. Ghostman had an idea.
an awful idea. He hoped it would be forgiven for it. Yeah, Ghostman lied. He asked about you. Really? Yeah. He said he wanted you to take over for him, now that he can't wear the costume. Ghostman ran through contingencies, fallback scenarios. If Alexander went crazy again, he said, as long as you don't kill anybody, you can be the new Mega Punch. But you want me to kill the guy who killed my dad, right? No. Not if we can't find another way. But Daddy killed people. I know, but your dad regretted it. He wants you to be the new Mega Punch and not kill anyone at all. No one at all? No one. And did he say he thought I was still good at the end? After the apocalyptic event, after Alexander was contained and drugged up on enough tranquilizers to kill 30 normal superheroes, Ghostman remembered Mega Punch had done everything in his power to try and kill him. Kill his own son. But Alexander was too strong. I've made a horrible mistake, Mega Punch had said. I'll never forgive myself for it. And now he was dead. His son was an orphan, and he hadn't even cared when he died. Ghostman held his breath. If Alexander believed his lie, they might beat Painted Man and save the world. If he didn't, well, Ghostman tried. Yes, he said he thought you were still good. A good boy who could become a great man. He said he loved you, and that he was proud of you. Alexander's eyes filled with tears.
He did?
Yes, he did. Alexander hugged Ghostman tight. His tears stained Ghostman's shirt.
I always knew he didn't give up on me.
The memory they were in faded. Alexander was hugging Ghostman in the prison. Ghostman hugged him back. It was the right thing to do, wasn't it? Lying wasn't as bad as letting the world die. He looked into Alexander's eyes. You promise you'll follow my orders and do what your dad said? Never kill anyone? Unless you tell me, Uncle Ghosty. Alexander's eyes glowed with excitement. No, never. Promise, Alexander thought, long and hard. Or I could just kill you right now and use your bones to escape. It took years and years of Ghostman facing the worst evils of the world for him not to tremble in fear. Is that what your dad would have wanted? Alexander smiled like a kid.
No, I'm just kidding.
Good. The elevator opened. Ghostman stepped out. The guard smiled. Oh hey, Ghostman, did you... He dropped his coffee on the floor. Alexander, wearing his father's costume, floated out of the elevator next to Ghostman. The security guard reached for his gun. Ghostman started to say something. Not to worry, citizen, Alexander said. Mega Punch has returned, and I'm here to save the day. And Ghostman couldn't stop his hands from shaking. He'd done the right thing, right? Or had he just doomed the world to a fate worse than death? Step 1. Get selected for training. Alexander stood in front of Ghostman on a city street. He'd just been let out of prison an hour ago. Their training began immediately. I want you to understand something. Yeah? If you lose control again, I will put you right back in that cell. I know you think I can't do it because you're stronger than me, but I've beaten way worse threats than you. I will break you if you break your promise. Got it? The power inside Alexander flickered. His eyes glowed. Ghostman phased through him, pinned his arms behind his back with psychic energy, and pushed him into the dirt, stepping on his face. Got it? Yes, Uncle Ghosty. First lesson. If you're on the team, we use code names only. You'll get a code name when you're ready. Ghostman kicked off the ground and flew into the sky. Okay, let's begin. Step 2. Stop a crime without hurting anybody. Ghostman flew through the sky. He scanned Mega City. The city was pretty safe before when there were so many heroes, but now it was only a matter of time before he lost control. Bzoom! Alexander flew past him. God, that kid was fast.
It feels so good to fly again, Uncle Gus.
Ghostman. Right. First step of training is stopping a crime without hurting anybody. Let's start with something basic, like, oh my god! On the beach, a monster with shark skin was dragging a bleeding woman towards the ocean. It was Sharktooth, a serial killer Ghostman had been dealing with for years. He always slipped out of his fingers before he could catch him for good. You gotta be kidding me. Don't crash into anything when I'm gone. I'll deal with him and then we... No, if I beat him, I make it to the next step, right? It's not that. Zoom. Alexander zoomed past him and headed towards the beach. Hey! Ghostman flew after him.
Sharktooth threw the woman on the ground. He was about to take a bite out of her arm when, boom, Alexander punched him into the sand. I got him! The people looked at Alexander in horror. What? Blood poured out of his head. Oh. Alexander knelt down next to her. I can fix that. Let me... Get away from me, you freak! The woman held her injuries and scooted away from him on the sand. People took out their phones and started filming. Ghostman landed next to Alexander. What happened to not hurting anybody? I just hit him as hard as Ghostman put his hands out. Okay, nothing to see here, folks. This was a mass murderer and medical personnel are on there. Why'd you let that freak out of jail? Where's Mega Punch? Alexander tried to help the bleeding woman up, but she spit in his face. Come on, kid. Ghostman tried to pull Alexander away, but he flew in the opposite direction, across the ocean, away from Mega City, across the waves. He'd been wearing his father's old costume. It was too big for him. He took it off and threw it in the ocean. At least in prison, no one hated him to his face. Kid. Ghostman flew up out of the water, holding the soaked costume. I told you to stay back. That guy killed people. I just killed him and they were scared, kid. And we had a deal you weren't gonna kill anyone. I didn't mean to kill him. I just hit him as hard as I could and I know. Ghostman ran his hand through his hair. I'm not good at this. Look, let's just move on to step 3. Meet the team. What team? Isn't everybody dead? Not everybody. Step 3, get approval from the team and continue your training. This place is garbage. You've been living here. Dr. Insane, the superhero doctor who cheated death for hundreds of years and uses black magic to heal heroes and villains alike, looked around Ghostman's disgusting detective's office. It's temporary. We're still finding a place for the Society of Heroes that's more secure. Ugh, we would have been better off in a demon world sewer, and you do not want to know what comes out of demons. He listened to something. No, it is not cute, Exaxel. I seriously question your methods. Ghostman was used to Insane, listening to voices. Are you talking to your imaginary friend again? He's not imaginary. He's a complex source of my magic that Fine. Insane, I have a new member of the team I want you to meet. Oh. Lovely, we could use some extra firepower. Alexander, wearing his father's soaked costume, walked into the room. Are you out of your mind? We need new members on the... No, absolutely not. Put him back in prison right now. He needs to get on the team. We don't have a lot of options. Do you know how many patients I had after his little black hole stunt in the center of the city? I lost control. Insane, just approve him for now, and if he makes it through training, we can decide then. Did he complete step 2? Sort of. No. He caved Sharktooth's head in with a single punch. The doctor's face darkened. He was known to heal anyone, hero or villain. He'd healed Sharktooth a dozen times. He killed people. What was I supposed to... Exaxel, give me a spell to take the air out of the child's lungs. What? No! Dr. Insane slapped himself in the face. Insane? Ghostman grabbed Dr. Insane's shirt, but it was too late. Step 4. Train against team members. Alexander couldn't breathe. He fell to his knees, gasping for air. Ghostman lifted Dr. Insane in the air with telekinesis. Insane, put the spell off right now. Alexander was suffocating. He tried to fly away, tried to use his strength. Nothing. Alexander never knew his power was tied to the air he breathed. Without air, he was powerless. That's how his father died, fallen to the liquid villain, drowned. Why should I? If the young master believes we should just kill anyone who does harm, I'm only following his logic. Alexander's face went purple. Was this dying? Insane, so help me God, I will phase you into a wall if you don't take the spell off. So be it. He snapped his fingers. Alexander gasped for air on the floor. As soon as he could breathe, his eyes glowed golden with the power of 1,000 suns. He grabbed the doctor and smashed him through a window, up into the sky, high above Mega City. Go ahead, young master. Drop me. Prove Ghostman was wrong about you. Alexander hesitated. He felt the power pulsing in him. He was about to lose control when... Your father wanted you locked away forever. Do you really want Ghostman to hate you too? His eyes glowed with rage. The black hole split his chest open. He was about to throw Insane to the ground when... Noxus Eternus. He fell to the ground, grasping for his chest, powerless. With no air, when he hit the pavement, he would die. The pavement hurtled towards him, faster, faster. Then Ghostman grabbed him, pulling him to safety. Insane! Dr. Insane, naked as the day he was born, floated down to the ground harmlessly. Thanks for the spell, Exaxel. I think it's a little juvenile that you punched me by getting in the nude, but it is what it is. Take the spell off, now! He's too emotional, Ghostman. And he thinks we should kill our problems, so really I'm just doing what he says. Do you really think we could save the city by ourselves? A telekinetic freak and a doctor? Really? Alexander was blacking out. The lack of air was pressing on him, hurting him. Ghostman was desperate. I've seen this kid lift a building over his head. I've seen him hit Mega Punch harder than a 1,000-foot monster. We need him. Alexander was going to die. Please, Insane, we need him. Fine. Snap. Alexander gasped for air. His eyes glowed, but he kept it under control. Step 5. Trial mission. The women that he'd kidnapped met the supervillain Mephisto's specifications. Young, frail, and beautiful. He modified the flesh clay from his clones to match their faces. Soon, the clones would be able to serve him, and the population would slowly come under his control. You know, Ghostman's head phased through Mephisto's clay figure. You should really take up painting. You made the mistake coming here, Ghostman. The clones made of life clay came alive, punching where Ghostman was. Ghostman phased through them and tried to use his ghost to take them down, but there were too many. I remember your limits, Ghostman. You can only be transparent for about 30 seconds, yeah? And Ghostman phased out of the clay vat, where Mephisto's clay came from. He tried to punch him in the face, but Mephisto was already there. He got him. Mephisto threw clay at him, stretching down on his flesh, immobilizing him. You might want to give up now, Mephisto. Why? Aquarius Vaxus, Dr. Insane said, as he emerged from the shadows. The clay creatures went nuts, beating each other to death. Mephisto laughed. Dr. Insane, you're a fool to help him, but even the two of you can't possibly... Kaboom. Mephisto was flying, high above the sky, above his graveyard, above his buildings. Alexander, his eyes glowing and his arms stretched to monstrous proportions, smiled a monstrous smile. Like he said, he's not alone anymore. Mephisto was tied up, surrounded by police. Paparazzi flashed as Ghostman and Dr. Insane took the podium. We've captured the cloning villain Mephisto and we'll send him to supervillain prison, but recent events and the tragic passing of many members of the Society of Heroes have forced me to take control of the organization, welcoming past member Dr. Insane and a new member. He took a deep breath. Alexander had passed step 2 yesterday. He'd stopped a hurricane by cutting a storm in half with an energy blast. The kid was so powerful. Still, he was unstable. Was Ghostman making the right choice? Insane had doubts. Ghostman had doubts. But they needed him. They needed help. Mega Punch. The crowd whispered, confused. Mega Punch had died. Mega Punch's funeral had made international news. Could he be back? But everyone went silent as Alexander took the stage. Ghostman's hands were shaking in fear. Step 6. If anyone on the team breaks the rules, send them to jail immediately. They didn't have chocolate. That's okay. Wham! Alexander punched Rockman as hard as he could. Rockman screamed in pain as his rock skin cracked. He struggled against Ghostman's telekinetic hold of him in the air. You won't be able to break my skin. I'll break you. Shut up. Ghostman handed Alexander his vanilla milkshake. He sipped it as the villain screamed. We just want to know where Gamma Team has its hostages, Rockman. I think you and I both agree that experimenting on little girls is a bit much. But it will all be worth it when we... Hit him again. Wham! Rockman screamed out in pain. Using torture to get confessions? Not very heroic, Ghostman. I mean, what would Mega Punch think of wham? Alexander struck him so hard he broke Rockman's skin. Rockman screamed out in pain. I met the guy who killed him, you know. He said he begged for mercy before he died. Oh, wasn't he your dad? Alexander's chest caved open. Golden light poured out, stretching his body. Kid? But Alexander's monstrous side came out. My dad put me in prison because I was so powerful I could take on the entire Society of Heroes myself. Wait! Ghostman tried to hold back Alexander's punch, but it was too late. He hit him so hard that all the rock fell off of his skin, leaving his body exposed. Do you really want to see what I'll do with you when I... Wait, please. I'll tell you where they are. Ghostman and Alexander flew over Mega City to the top of a sugar factory. You need to listen to me when I say to hold back, Ghostman said. Yeah, well, I got the confession out of him, didn't I? They landed on the rooftop. What did you promise me? No killing, that's right. A fiery portal opened and Dr. Insane, the third member of their team, stepped onto the rooftop. I hate going to demon worlds. I always get a sunburn. Ah, Master Serial Killer. Don't kill anybody. I know. Okay, these guys are pretty tough. Let's hit them smart. A little girl screamed from inside the sugar factory. Dr. Insane's eyes glowed red. No, let's just hit them hard. Alexander turned to Dr. Insane in surprise. Don't hold back. Just don't kill. Alexander slipped inside the window. Ghostman's hands started shaking. He wasn't sure if he was afraid of the villains, or if he was afraid of the thing he sent to stop them. The air inside the sugar factory was sweet and suffocating, but now it had a different smell too. Fear. Gamma Team was pretty dangerous. They usually stayed out of Mega City because there were so many heroes, but now that they were all dead, they wanted to slice of the territory. Rockman, their muscle, was already in prison, but Airman, Waterman, and Fireman were free. Free to experiment on children.
Don't hurt me. Please. I want my mom.
Hush, Airman said, wisping a syringe with a sharp blade on the end. Don't disrupt your breathing. It will interfere with my boss. Waterman slinked up next to him. Something ain't right. Boom. Alexander smashed through Waterman's body, standing in front of the little girl. Cool, you're made out of water. You know the guy who killed my dad was made out of water too?
Run,
Fireman said. He blasted a giant plume of fire where Alexander was standing, where the little girl was lying, tied to the table. Ghostman put his hand on the little girl's arm, turning her transparent. But there was no need. Alexander had stretched out his entire body into a shield, protecting them. The kid was so powerful. Impressive. Airman wisped through the lab into the cage with the other kids. But I only need one to keep going. He grabbed a little boy. Airman sped away in the sky. Wait! Alexander tried to fly after him, but Ghostman put his hand on his arm. Let me. You and Insane protect the kids here. But I don't trust you not to kill him. Be careful of Waterman. Ghostman flew after him. Waterman regrouped his body and Fireman lit his hands on fire. Oh yeah, kid? You gonna take us by yourself? Oh, he's not alone, Dr. Insane said. He started pelvic thrusting in the middle of the lab. Fireman and Waterman burst out laughing. Insane? Seriously? Just one moment. My demon says I have to do it for 30... He thrust his pelvis. Seconds. His eyes glowed red. That's it. I'll take fire. You take water. Vixus Vaxus. Dr. Insane's arms turned into fire extinguishers, spraying Flame Man. Flame Man's body crumbled. Okay, well, I'm out. Waterman grabbed two kids and dove out the window towards the ocean. No! Alexander sped after them. As Waterman and the kids dove down towards the water, Alexander dove down towards them at full speed. The kids reached up to him. He would not fail them. Splash. Waterman, the kids, and Alexander went underwater. Alexander grabbed the kids and kicked towards the surface when... I don't think so, kid. Waterman, big as a house in the ocean, pushed water down on Alexander and the kids. Alexander got his powers from oxygen. When he could breathe, he was godlike. But now, he was powerless. No. Alexander's eyes glowed golden. He didn't care if he lived or died. But if he failed, those kids in his arms would never grow up. Alexander stretched his neck longer and longer. It looked kind of ridiculous. He was being pushed deeper and his neck was almost 50 feet. Ha! What's that neck gonna do when you... Alexander stuck his head out of the water. He breathed a single breath. Waterman tried to slick away when Alexander stretched his hands into a huge bowl, scooping him up out of the ocean. Hey, wait! Waterman tried to get away, but Alexander's hands closed around him. He flew with the kids holding onto his back onto the surface of the beach. He smiled. Run, he told the kids. He turned to Waterman, frantically slinking towards the ocean. Alexander blasted through Waterman's body, scattering droplets of water everywhere. Waterman was 3 feet tall, slithering towards the ocean. Wait, I just take orders! Blast. Alexander hit him again, scattering him to pieces. Waterman was 2 feet tall. Blast. 1 foot tall. Alexander stretched his hand around Waterman. Okay, you got me. Alexander heated his hand. Waterman screamed as he started evaporating. Wait, please, I'm sorry. Ghostman grabbed Waterman out of Alexander's hand, turning him transparent. That's enough. Waterman jumped toward the beach, slinking into the wet sand, escaping. You let him escape. You can't. People are watching. People were recording them both with their phones in shock. Their faces weren't those of gratitude of people who'd just been saved. They were faces of terror. Ghostman knelt down to see if the kids were okay. The boy he'd saved from Airman was hugging one of the girls. Safe. Alexander turned towards the crowd. He breathed. Today we saved these kids from Gamma Crew. They, were new to us, but they were nothing we couldn't handle. Now, I'm sure that the kids want some rest, so we're gonna get them back to their... You're not Mega Punch, somebody in the crowd said. You're that monster that attacked Master Square 4 years ago, one of the women recording said. The crowd murmured. Yeah, Mega Punch's kid? Didn't he kill like 6,000? 16,000. Ghostman put his hand on Alexander's shoulder, flying in the air. "Come on, kid." Alexander turned around.
"Yeah, that's me."
The crowd went silent.
"I've made mistakes. I've hurt people. But I'm trying to change. Alexander held back tears. "When my father died, I didn't want his name to be in vain. So I decided to take his name, Mega Punch, and make up for my mistakes by being, you ain't Mega Punch."
Somebody threw a beer bottle at Alexander's head. It cracked, bouncing off him harmlessly.
"Get the hell out of our city,"
somebody else in the crowd said. The people started screaming. Ghostman pulled Alexander up into the air. "Now, come on." Alexander looked out at the crowd.
But
he looked at the kids he saved. They were hiding behind a mother in the crowd, terrified of him. Hours later, Dr. Insane knocked on Alexander's door. "Busy?"
Nah.
Dr. Insane looked at the disgusting bedroom in Ghostman's apartment that Alexander was staying in. "Ugh, the sooner we can move into the society headquarters, the better. I don't understand how Ghostman can live like this. The last room I was in was a prison, so..." Dr. Insane laughed.
"Can I sit?"
"Sure." Dr. Insane sat next to him.
"You almost took it too far today. Ghostman told me."
Alexander looked out the window.
"Yeah? You know, I wasn't in favor of you joining our team. I had the same opinion as those people out there. Ghostman told me they were quite upset."
Alexander sulked. He felt like the worst superhero in the world. His dad had wanted him to be better than this, and he was messing everything up. Dr. Insane sighed.
"It smelled like someone peed in every single corner of this room. Can you go, please?" "You know how at my hospital, I heal both heroes and villains? Yeah, I healed the man who killed my wife. Did you know that?"
Alexander turned to him in shock.
He was my apprentice. He wanted me to teach him how to summon a demon, and I thought it was too dangerous. I didn't let him. I never knew I would lose her like that. Lose him, too. When I summoned Hellfire and burned his skin to a crisp, it felt so good."
Alexander remembered crushing Waterman in his hand.
"Yeah, but afterwards, after all that pain went away, I just felt embarrassed. Because, well, Ghostman won't feel this way because he's a goody two-shoes, but when you get angry, when you want revenge, it feeds on you. But when you get your revenge, the only thing you wanted the whole time, you just wish you never got angry in the first place. Because it's so easy to be angry, keeping those emotions in control, being good anyway. That's the hard part."
He put his hand on Alexander's shoulder.
"I guess I heal the villains because I want them to be good. Just like I want to be. Just like I want you to be."
Alexander was stunned.
"We never could have beat those guys if it wasn't for you. Do you know that? Really?"
Dr. Insane smiled.
"Really? And those kids, the ones that were scared of you, they're safe. Every one of them. Because of you."
Alexander's fist unclenched.
"But I'm still angry."
Dr. Insane smiled.
"I know.
They say keeping anger in control is hard. This is what hard feels like." And suddenly, Alexander didn't care if he was hated. At least, for now. Ghostman looked out over the city. So many crimes, and the prison transport holding Rockman was broken into by the other members of the Gamma team. They got away.
He wasn't good at this.
There was a sound. Paint scraping down a wall, turning into a face made entirely of blackness.
"So, you got Murder Boy to join you. Do you really think that's gonna stop me?"
Ghostman turned around with his hands ignited with ghosts.
"Insane! Alexander,
But the rooftop was empty.
The Painted Man was already gone. It was just as Ghostman feared. The Painted Man wasn't dead. He was waiting to strike.
The most terrifying villain ever does something very simple. He controls paint. He's made out of this black paint with white eyes, white lips, and a body that's constantly struggling to stay together. His body looks like it's about to melt into a puddle 24/7. He's not intimidating. He looks like sentient sludge in the corner of a room. But his eyes aren't human. They're fake. Paint made to look human, like a painting from a toddler. He has no organs, no brain, no soul. And the only thing he wants is to watch people die.
"See? I don't just control paint.
he said to the Society of Strength, the most powerful supervillain alliance in Mega City, sliding down their $60,000 table as villains like Cyborg Master and Money Man watch him with disgust.
I control all liquid, so I will accept control of your organization immediately.
Ha! Good one, Moneyman said. He snapped his finger and Dragon, an 8-foot, muscle-bulging dragon man with a gold collar around his neck, swiped through the painted man's body with his claws. Dragon breathed fire at the puddle of black paint, setting the expensive table on fire. The painted man was neutralized. The villains laughed. Moneyman picked at his teeth with a huge diamond. This guy killed Mega Punch? He ain't so... The fire snuffed out. Moneyman froze. Boss, Dragon said, scanning the room.
As I was saying...
The painted man's puddle body formed again. He smiled, but his eyes never changed. They were eyes of pure hatred.
I control all liquid. The liquid in Moneyman's body is easy for me to control.
Dragon tried to swing at the painted man again with his claws, but he stopped. He couldn't move. Hey, what? The villains panicked, but they were all frozen too. The painted man had taken control of the liquid in their bodies.
Choke yourselves.
The villains stared in disbelief as the blood and pus in their bodies turned against them, choking themselves. They screamed in rage and pain as their faces turned red, then purple, then black. They tried to activate their powers, but they couldn't. Painted Man slinked down the table and put his huge black face up to Moneyman's.
Do you know what happens when my paint touches you, Moneyman?
The paint was inches from his face.
The liquid from your body becomes a part of me, and I leave your bones behind. Now give me control of your organization, because if not, I'm really, really hungry.
Moneyman's body unimmobilized. This was his chance to stay alive. Ding! All the money you made in your whole career and offshore accounts you stole over the past year are mine. Ha! And the riches you got from offing those heroes? Mine. Look, buddy, you got some moves, but you need guidance. Come on, have a seat at the table. Moneyman's eyes flicked to the other villains. The scariest villains in Mega City. All of them were choking on the verge of passing out, terrified. But Moneyman had come too far to be muscled like this. Come on! Don't you want to be rich? Painted Man looked at Moneyman for a moment. Come on! You need us! You lost to Ghost Man for crack. The Painted Man ate his face. The black paint slid down Moneyman's face, leaving his white skull poking through the black paint. The paint slinked down, taking his blood and muscle and sinew, leaving Moneyman's blank skeleton behind. Moneyman, the leader of the Society of Strength, who paid every supervillain in Mega City and ruled them with an iron fist for 10 years, was dead.
Disgusting. Too many coins, you know? That little appetizer was yummy. Who else wants to be my food?
Heads appeared out of the Painted Man's body and faced the villains with white lips and fake eye smiles.
Anyone else want to tell me I can't have what I want?
Ghostman watched the sunrise. The Painted Man spoke to him then, right after he killed Moneyman and took control of the Society of Strength.
So, you got Murder Boy to join you. Do you really think that's gonna stop me?
Ghostman turned around with his hands ignited with ghost energy. Insane! Alexander, get... But the rooftop was empty. The Painted Man was already gone. What is it, Uncle Ghosty? Alexander flew up to him. Check for shadows, puddles of liquid, quickly. Okay. Alexander flew around the rooftop and down the building faster than a bullet. The kid wasn't ready. He killed a villain with one punch last week. He's barely a hero. Dr. Insane floated up to the rooftop in a bubble, completely naked. Insane! Gah! What? My demon has a 12-year-old sense of humor and maybe disrobe for the bubble spell. I don't pick what punishments he does. Come on, you haven't seen a naked man before? Insane, Painted Man's here. Dr. Insane usually joked around, but today he was deadly serious. He saw how many people went to his hospital from the Painted Man. He saw how many people died. Exaxel, give me a clarity spell. He listened to the air.
Ghostman,
Yeah?
I'm sorry about this.
About? Dr. Insane kissed Ghostman on the lips. Alexander flew up to the rooftop. Ah! He covered his eyes. Gross! Ghostman pushed Dr. Insane off of him. Insane! That's completely inappropriate. I know, my demon thinks it's funny. Dr. Insane wiped his lips. Sorry. His eyes crackled with magic energy. His clairvoyant spell let him see the whole city.
I found him.
Really? Where?
He's right.
Dr. Insane's stomach dropped. Ghostman got chills. Alexander, get down! What? A tendril of black liquid snaked up the side of the building at lightning speed. Alexander tried to fly out of the way, but the liquid forced itself down Alexander's throat, choking him. Alexander tried to fly away. He crashed into an adjacent building, but the liquid was forcing itself down his throat. He was drowning. He was drowning on dry land. I'll get him. Insane slapped himself in the face and teleported to the building where Alexander was. I knew you weren't dead. Ghostman lit his hands up with ghosts. Where are you? What's the matter? Too scared to fight me on your slam. A jet black tentacle of paint, faster than a snake, whizzed up the side of the building and punched Ghostman across the face. He flew around, falling, trying to decide which way was up when a giant, thin, black monster made of paint peeked out from behind the building.
Peekaboo.
Insane, Alex! But the Painted Man's thin, wispy body pulled the two of them, Dr. Insane and Alexander, out from the building. They were coughing, choking on black paint, stuck into his giant hand. Ghostman flew towards them as fast as he could. The Painted Man's tendrils swung towards him, but he went transparent at just the right time, his body passing through the blows with no issue. He was a spinning ball of ghost energy. He phased through the Painted Man's tentacles and passed into his black body. The Painted Man screamed and tried to punch through himself, but Ghostman was faster. Ghostman grabbed Dr. Insane and Alexander out of the muck of the Painted Man's body and was about to free them when schluck, his transparency ran out. The paint was all around him now, pressing into him. He was suffocating, drowning in paint, black every direction. He couldn't breathe. The last time he fought Painted Man, he wondered if he was dying. Now he knew he was gonna die. His pocket. He had to reach it, but he didn't have the strength. The Painted Man held Ghostman up to his face, up to his fake mouth and fake eyes, and smiled.
You're the last ones, you know. Once I get you, the only ones left will be me and my friends.
Ghostman looked down at the city, horrified. The villains, the entire society of strength, were out in full force, corralling innocent people into a line leading them to be eaten by the Painted Man's black paint.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm going to eat them too, the little ants working for me. And then I'm going to eat everyone in Mega City and America and the world. The whole planet is going to be painted black. The whole planet's gonna wear my face.
The people screamed out for help as the villains readied the first one to be pushed into the Painted Man, turning their flesh into more liquid for his rapidly expanding black paint body. The paint ate into Alexander's skin. He screamed in pain as he choked on the tendril of black paint in his mouth. His hyper-resistant skin repelled the Painted Man's skin-eating paint, barely. Dr. Insane's shield spell was wearing down. He was gonna die too. In a minute, they would both be eaten, and Ghostman would be all alone.
You're going to watch as I kill everyone you've ever loved. And then I'm going to eat you last.
Ghostman started laughing. The Painted Man's huge eyes turned towards him.
What's so funny?
I tried so hard. I didn't sleep for days trying to stop you, but you're still so stupid.
What?
The Painted Man's paint ate into Ghostman's skin. It was the worst pain he had ever felt. Every part of him felt like it was on fire, but Ghostman could still reach into his jacket pocket. In the line of villains, Dragon was about to push the first person into the line, a little girl into the Painted Man's body. Ghostman pulled out the vial of salt from his jacket. Isn't it funny that someone as big and mean as you can be beaten by something you can buy in bulk for $3 at the grocery store? Ghostman threw salt into the Painted Man's eyes. The salt ate into his skin, his body melted. The Painted Man screamed. Alexander, don't hold back. But you said do it. Let it go. Alexander screamed. The black hole in Alexander's chest opened, sending tendrils of golden light crashing into the painted man's body, the buildings, his face, his hands. Skyscrapers shook as people ran for cover, and Alexander's body stretched out to be the size of the painted man's. Alexander's giant body punched the painted man in the face, sending black paint splattering everywhere. Get him in the ocean, Ghostman screamed. Dr. Insane danced around like a hula girl on the painted man's hand.
La 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 hee hee.
The painted man turned to see what he was doing when teleportation time. Pop. The painted man, Alexander, and Ghostman all teleported out into the city's bay, into the city's ocean. Dr. Insane's nose gushed blood. Too much magic. The painted man screamed, "No!" His huge painted body fell into the sea spray. He tried to stretch across the ocean into the city, but it was too late. Ghostman grabbed Dr. Insane and watched as the painted man melted into the sea.
You can never kill me, Ghostman. I'll make you pay. I'll make you pay.
He said he would never kill. No one that knows death in the way that Ghostman does would hope for that. But secretly, he hoped that the painted man would die.
Sabrina is alive, Ghostman. I have her, and you'll never see her again.
Ghostman dove towards the painted man, reaching out to save him. He didn't care that touching the painted man would kill him instantly. He had to save her. He had to find her. No! Alexander grabbed Ghostman and held him back. Ghostman punched Alexander in the face without thinking and dove. He has her. I have to. But it was too late. The painted man's face melted into the surf. Gone. People cheered as Ghostman, Dr. Insane, and Alexander received their medals from the president of Mega City, hailed as the new Society of Heroes. Ghostman smiled for the cameras. But after all the cameras stopped clicking, and Ghostman sat on his new bed in the fancy Society of Heroes headquarters, he started sobbing. Uncle Ghosty? Alexander walked into the room, and Ghostman turned away from him, hiding his tears. What's wrong?
He has my daughter, Alexander. That monster has my little girl.
The truck was going fast enough to kill those people. Every single one. The driver tried to move the wheel, but it was locked. Someone must have messed with the controls. Look out! He screamed at the pedestrians as the truck burst through the fence and rolled towards Master Square, the busiest walking district in the city. One person fell over and knocked over another. Soon the crowd was nothing but a mess of arms and legs on the ground. If a truck drove into those streets, it would be a bloodbath. There was nowhere to run. People trampled over each other as the truck got closer and closer. The truck was 6 seconds away from hitting them. 3 seconds. No! The driver screamed. He couldn't look. He slammed the brakes as hard as he could, closed his eyes, and prayed. He looked out the window to see the truck floating high above the city square, above the unharmed people looking up at him in shock. People pointed at the truck. He looked out the window to see a 14-year-old boy in an oversized superhero costume, lifting the truck like it was nothing over his head. Hey mister, did you fail your driving test? Failed it the first time, but I passed 3 weeks later. Never had an accident in 21 years. Until now. I won't tell anybody. The kid stretched his arm to 20 feet. It snaked around and opened the hood of the truck, disabling the engine, then set the truck down onto the city street, unharmed. He flew to the driver's side window. Are you a splooge? A hot dog hit the kid in the face, splattering his oversized costume with ketchup. Murderer! A crowd drew around them. A woman with tears in her eyes was staring at the boy with pure hate. You think because you save a truck, you can change what you did? The driver looked between them. The kid just saved her life, and now she hates him? He saw the discomfort of the people of the crowd. They hated him too. Master Square incident. Right here. 6 years ago. You killed my son, you piece of... He flew over her. Oh yeah, remember the monster that was gonna kill everyone 3 days ago? Remember how me and the other heroes stopped it? You and everyone else here would be dead if it wasn't for me. You know that? The driver stepped out of the truck and put his hand on the boy's arm. That's enough, son. Don't go messing up the good thing you did. The woman who was yelling at him cowered in fear.
Please don't hurt me.
The boy rolled his eyes and turned to fly away. He froze. In the crowd, a pale, beautiful girl in a black cloak with a red heart tattoo on her forehead rolled her eyes too, as if to say, I see you. The boy's heartbeat doubled. She stared at him. His heart beat faster and faster. She was so... He can't. Boom. He flew into the sky. He had to get away. He felt like he was having a heart attack. What was this feeling? Was he in danger? Who is she? He was a superhero. The newspapers called him Mega Punch, but that was his father's name. His real name was Alexander. And the one place Alexander can get any rest from his busy superhero life is on top of the Society of Heroes Tower, the tallest building in Mega City. Ghostman, his boss and the guy who freed him from prison, phased through the building's surface to the roof, then floated in front of him. Miss Finkelstein told me you were up here.
Miss Finkelstein died?
Yeah, her ghost wants me to haunt her husband.
Are you going to?
Probably. She used to give me those caramels all the time, so... He popped a caramel in his mouth. Alexander laughed. Ghostman smiled softly. The ghosts, also told me you yelled at a woman in Master Square. Really scared a bunch of people. Is that true? Alexander sighed. He wanted to lie, but Ghostman was a detective. He would know the truth the second he told it.
Yeah, after I saved her life, I yelled at her. It was me.
Alexander.
But she was...
I don't care. Alexander, you have to be better than that.
No one died. I was just...
Do you know how many of us are left? Do you know how scared everyone in the city is?
I'm scared. The thing we fought almost ate me, and you've been off crying in your room.
What would your father think of you right now?
I wouldn't know.
Alexander screamed. So loud the building shook. Ghostman's eyes were glowing. His hands were green, ready to use telekinesis to fight.
I wouldn't know. We never even talked before he died. I know he was my dad, but you knew him better than me.
Ghostman's eyes went normal. He scratched at his hair. Look, there's an explosion on Victory Beach. We can talk about this after you...
Yeah, perfect. Great parenting.
Alexander, I'm not your...
You're not my dad. I know. You'd be a horrible dad, too.
Ghostman's eyes widened and hurt. Alexander regretted what he said as soon as he said it. Ghostman's daughter died 3 years ago. She was 6 years old. Alexander didn't know the details. He just knew Ghostman blamed himself. But somehow, the Painted Man, the horrifying, liquid-controlling villain they fought 3 days ago, who killed Alexander's father, had said that he was still alive. Maybe it was just a sick joke from a bitter villain before he melted into dust. But maybe she was still alive. Maybe it was a bluff. But Ghostman hadn't slept since the Painted Man said that, and that was the point. He'd looked in every sewer, every abandoned building in the city to find her. Alexander helped him look, flying until he fell asleep in the air and almost crash-landed. And the pain of losing her was on Ghostman's face. Boom. Alexander flew away from him before he could hurt him anymore. He weaved between buildings at lightning speed. He couldn't control his flight that well in the past, but now he was getting pretty good. He flew through a crane and waved at construction workers and weaved between reflective buildings. Even though this day sucked, it was still awesome to be him. After rotting in a cage for so many years, it was good to fly. Kids not old enough to remember the mistakes he made a few years ago waved at him, and parents smacked their hands away. That was how it was for him. It didn't matter how old he was. Some people were just never going to forget his mistakes. He flew over Victory Beach, which was completely empty. Mega City had 300 days of sunshine a year, and Victory Beach was always packed. People would only run if they were in life-threatening danger. Where's the Vroom? Alexander dodged a fireball flung at him at lightning speed. Hey! He flew down to the beach where the fireball came from and... Oh, Jesus. It was her. The girl from the square. She was in a black bikini. Get it together, Alexander, he told himself. She could be a villain. Hey! He landed, smashing into the sand. She giggled. Hi. Did you cause an explosion just now? What? Like this? She clapped her hands together and boom! She launched a huge fireball at him at point-blank range. It was hot. Hotter than RPG fire. It would kill anyone. Alexander punched through the fire with his arm, then sped up to her and grabbed her wrist, holding her arm above her head. You create explosions when you clap your hands, right? She almost clapped her hand, but Alexander flew up, dragging her into the air by her arm. She struggled, dangling 2 feet above the ground. Kind of an easy power to beat. She smirked, then shimmied up Alexander's body and wrapped her legs around his waist. He'd never been so close to a girl before. He'd never been so close to a girl wearing so little before. She smiled. Hi. Blowing people up, not a very good use of your powers. No one's ever been able to take one of my explosions before. Even though she was so beautiful, she looked a little insecure. I can't always control them. It scares guys away, usually. Well, you can tell all the guys at Floor 13 prison about it. He was trying not to look at her. She was so close to him, and she was wearing her swimsuit. And they were... No. Focus. She batted her eyelashes, then her eyes widened. Oh, you've got a little fire on your... Alexander looked down. His cape was on fire. Ah! 1 second. Alexander dropped her, then flew into the water, putting his burned cape out in the salt water. It's all burned. Damn it. Sploosh. She dove into the water next to him as he washed the cape in the water. Are you swimming? She floated on her back, looking at him in the eyes. The water flowed over her body. Even Alexander could see. She knows exactly what she's doing. Yeah. Do you mind? He shook his head, grabbed her by the wrist again, and started pulling her to the beach. Oh, come on. She dug her bare feet into the wet sand, leaving long lines. Alexander pulled her along with super strength, no problem. Don't you want to swim with me? No. You're going to jail for... He looked around. She shook her head. And she was wearing so little, her body also shook. Alexander tried not to look below her eyebrows.
Do you think I'm pretty?
Alexander's throat went dry. He nodded before he could stop himself. She smiled. Alexander was 14. His cheeks burned. He let go of her hand. He walked away from her and pretended to look for something across the ocean. She smiled.
You don't have a lot of experience, do you?
She put out her hand to shake.
I'm not going to bite you. Hi, I'm Alma.
Your villain name is Alma?
No, it's my real name. What's yours?
Alexander shifted his feet. He'd never told anyone his real name before.
Come on. I don't want to say that the guy I have a crush on is Mega Punch.
She touched his arm.
I want to be special.
She was the most beautiful girl Alexander had ever seen. Ghostman flew down from the sky. Mega Punch, what are you doing?
Gotta go, sweetheart. Call me?
She exploded into the air, taking Alexander's cape with her. Hey! Ghostman tried to grab at her, but her explosion burned his hands. Are you okay? Why didn't you grab her?
Sorry!
Alexander flew into the sky after her. Boom, boom. She was fast, using explosions with precision to move between buildings at neck-breaking speed. People screamed as Alexander flew after her, with Ghostman falling behind. You're pretty fast!
You haven't seen nothing, baby.
Alexander gritted his teeth and flew after her, stretching his arms out to grab her by her waist, her legs. Alexander's cheeks flushed. She was barely wearing anything. Where could he grab her in a way that's not weird?
Catch up, baby.
Boom, she exploded a building. A little girl screamed as glass fell towards her. No! Alexander stretched his arm out and blocked the shards of glass. Okay. He didn't care how he grabbed her. She was going down. He sped up as she exploded high above an intersection between buildings, pump faking him to turn the wrong direction. He stumbled through the air and did a confused backflip. He turned around and sped after her on the straightaway above an avenue between buildings. She clapped her hands to explode farther away from him when Alexander opened his chest, the black hole changing the direction of gravity and sending her exploding back towards him. He grit his teeth, keeping the black hole contained. If he let it go, he could consume the whole city block, but he could control it. She tried to explode away from him, but she couldn't get away. His pull was stronger. He stretched out his hand and grabbed her wrist, pulling her towards him. The momentum from her explosions wore off. Whoa! She yelped a little and clung to him to not fall to the ground. She smiled, panting. Wow, that was fun. Want to catch me again? She wasn't smiling like they were fighting. It was like she licked her lips. Alexander's brain flickered. You're coming with me, Alma smiled.
Aw, playtime's over?
She held up his burned cape.
You want your cape back?
I want you to go to... Alma licked his face. Alexander almost dropped her. Ah! She screamed, and then she started laughing. Alexander picked her up, holding her much closer. People from office buildings nearby snapped pictures. Alma smiled for the cameras, but then she looked a little sad.
When I fly, I always have to move. I like floating still like this.
You... what? She smiled. Then she kissed his cheek.
Gotta run, sweetheart.
She clapped her hands behind Alexander's head. Boom! A huge explosion sounded behind him, knocking him off balance. The huge skyscraper behind them was in danger of collapsing. Hey! Alexander flew after her, but the building was falling. He had to choose, catch the girl or let the building collapse. He knew what he wanted to do. He also knew what the right thing was. He flew under the building, grabbing it from the exploded edge, holding it higher. He grit his teeth, holding the skyscraper up with all his might. Stupid. He was so stupid. People screamed from inside the building, running for their lives. Go! Go! I've got you! He strained under the weight of the building as they evacuated. It was collapsing, shifting even with him holding it. Well, I know I said you should work out a bit, Alexander, but this is a bit grislier than I'd imagined. Dr. Insane, the third and final member of the Society of Heroes, walked out of a portal into the collapsing building. His eyes glowed red as he tore off his surgery gloves. Axaxel, help me find the boy's mess. It wasn't me. It was... I know. He spun around, screaming at the air. Well, that's completely uncalled for, Axaxel. He says it's the demon who gives him his powers, who makes him do a embarrassing dare for his amusement every time he wants to use his magic. Alexander wasn't sure that the demon was real. He was pretty sure that Dr. Insane was just crazy. Okay, fine. Sorry about this, lad. Sorry about what? Dr. Insane started shaking his butt. I like to shake my booty cheeks, booty cheeks, booty cheeks. I like to shake my booty cheeks and give a little smack. Insane smacked his butt. Flaccidus erectus. The building twisted and shook. The steel beam Alma had exploded flew off the ground and inserted itself back into place. It's done. Are you sure? Alexander strained under the building's weight, even though it was safe to let go. But he didn't want to let it go. He didn't want to put anyone else in danger. Insane, usually uncaring, widened his eyes with concern. He might be crazy, but he and Alexander cared about the same thing, protecting innocent people at all costs. Dr. Insane did it for his own reasons, but Alexander did it because he didn't want anyone else to die because of him. Dr. Insane didn't charge anyone for life-changing surgery. Moreover, his magic made him the only one to be able to operate on superpowered patients. He didn't care if you were a hero or a villain. If you were hurt, he would help you. Alexander wished he could help people like that, like Ghostman did, like his dad used to. But it seemed like no matter how hard he tried, he always messed everything up. Dr. Insane patted Alexander's arm. I'm sure it's safe, son. Let go of the building. It's all right. Alexander let go of the building's support beam. It held. That's my boy. You did it good. Ghostman arrived, fuming with rage. What the hell were you thinking? Alexander sulked in the luxurious bedroom of the Society of Heroes headquarters. He thought about her. That conniving girl who thought that just because she was pretty and ran around in a swimsuit, she could make him look stupid. Alexander seethed because it worked. She did make him look stupid. Who was she? And why was he so stupid around her? He can punch villains in the face in 0.3 seconds. He can go toe-to-toe with godlike monsters like Painted Man, but she just makes him feel so confused. He kept thinking about her name, Alma, and how she had asked for his name. Not the name of the newspapers or the one on his fancy Society of Heroes chair. His real one. She asked him if he thought she was pretty. She said she has a crush on him. Of course, he was thinking about her body, her face, her hair, the way she felt when she was pressed against him, flying above all those people. Of course he was thinking about that. He was 14. Ghostman walked into the room. Milkshake bar. Whole team. Now. But I don't want a milkshake. You're a teenager, of course you want a milkshake, come on. Freddy's Milkshakes has been around for longer than Mega City has existed, but urban legend says superheroes need a lot of calories to use their powers, and Freddy's Shakes did boast up to 2,000 plus per serving. But the real reason why Freddy's was so popular was after you face a superpower killer and almost die, the only thing that can make you feel better is some good old stress eating, and Freddy's was pure American deliciousness. Once Ghostman and the other heroes came back from the war, they liked hanging out here, but they didn't want to be mobbed by fans, so Freddy made them a special section on the top floor of the Night Eye skyscraper for heroes, with a special fly-in entrance. Downstairs, Freddy's was packed with people and staff, but upstairs in the hero bar, Freddy insisted on serving everyone himself.
Hey, fellas!
Freddy smiled as Alexander, Ghostman, and Dr. Insane walked in. On a normal Thursday night, this place would be bursting with heroes. Tarantula and Human Bat bickering at the bar, Armor Man working on some gizmo, Katana Girl doing her makeup, and Alexander's dad, Mega Punch, holding court at the big table, cracking jokes and telling stories. Freddy's was their home. It didn't matter if you were good enough to be a Society of Heroes member or someone just trying to make a difference in your neighborhood. If you were a hero, you were welcome here. Now, the place was empty, because that monster, the Painted Man, had killed them all. Every single hero, even the ones that didn't have powers. Ghostman, Insane, and Alexander were the only ones left.
So, you save anyone today?
Freddy said. He was still polishing the bar, even though there were no customers. Ghostman had offered to buy Freddy out of his lease on the top floor with his new Society of Heroes budget, but Freddy didn't let him.
I'm always gonna be around, come on. For any heroes that wanna come through, even if there's only one.
Freddy, Ghostman sat at the counter. The usual, please.
Dr. Insane in the flesh! Hey, wasn't you dancing around naked to do a rain dance or something the other day?
No comment. Dr. Insane wiped his hands with disinfectant.
You don't do oxblood smoothies, do you?
Freddy laughed.
What about a mint chocolate shake?
Alexander stood floating outside the fly-in entrance doorway, watching Ghostman and Dr. Insane sit down. He wasn't sure if he should go in or not. He wasn't sure if he was allowed. Freddy's eyes widened at the bar. Alexander flew back, hiding behind a curtain. Freddy smiled a huge smile.
Come on in here.
Alexander stepped into the room. He'd never walked in here as a hero before. It was like coming home. He wasn't Ghostman, but he felt his father's laughter in these walls, his smiles in the old mirrors, but they were gone. He was dead. Forever.
Well, this team meeting isn't gonna start itself. What do you want? I'm buying.
Alexander sat at the bar. Freddy was looking at him, beaming. Even with the gray hair and grease stains on his apron, his eyes were just like a little kid's when they saw a superhero for the first time.
Could I have a peanut butter shake with extra hot fudge? You look just like him, you know.
Freddy's eyes filled with tears.
I thought I would never see his face again, but just so grown up.
Give it a rest, Freddy, you big sap. But he was smiling. It was so rare for Alexander to see him smile.
Yeah, of course. Peanut butter shake. I'm sorry.
He went in the back to make the shakes.
So, I'm sorry about the building. She distracted me and...
Hold on, Alexander, Ghostman said. We'll get to that. We're just waiting for one more... Outside, from the flyer's balcony, a hero killer robot with shimmering silver skin walked into the room. He was the latest in hero killer technology. GovTech Augmented Law Enforcement Robot version 6000. The exact robots that guarded the Floor 13 prison Alexander suffered in for years. The ones that shocked him every night, that poked and prodded him, that tortured him. Alexander tensed.
Hero killer,
Ghostman grumbled. I hate slickskins.
Hey! Freddy put the shakes down and pulled out a shotgun from behind the counter.
Hey, I don't like them either, but...
We fought against them things in the war, Ghostman. I don't like him in my...
I know. It's just for now, Freddy. Please. Ghostman sat at the bar and sipped his shake. You slickskins really are missing out. The machine walked into the room. Alexander's eyes didn't leave it for a second.
I remember you.
The machine looked at him. Corporal 8675. You were my supervising guard.
Yes, prisoner 76, threat level 6, Apocalypse Man.
Apocalypse Man. That's what the newspapers called Alexander the day he killed all those people. That's the only hero name Alexander felt like he really deserved. The machine's glowing white eyes narrowed. If Ghostman hadn't broken Alexander out of prison, he still would have been torturing him. Right now. Did you come here to take me back?
I could, if I wanted to.
Alexander opened the black hole in his chest and stretched his arms into blades.
Oh yeah? Let's see you try, you son of a... Okay, Dr. Insane said. Let's just...
Was it fun for you? Hearing me scream in pain every night? Alexander's eyes glowed. Do you want to try and shock me now that I don't have those inhibitors on me? Do you want to... Ghostman burped. God, that's good. Kid, sit down, drink your milkshake. Insane, make your pitch. And try to do it before they kill each other. Very well. Ghostman. Dr. Insane walked up next to him. This is a new superhero called Intelligence Man.
That's not my...
The latest in GovTech Soja operations. He's going to help us with tactical and combat roles for the next few weeks. Next few weeks? Alexander said. But you hate robots. Ghostman... Drink your milkshake, kid. Seriously. Alexander sipped his milkshake. Immediately, his injuries from the battle went away. His wrists healed themselves, and the soreness from fighting Alma went away. What the? He saw Ghostman's hands were healed from before. Insane's injuries from the battle with Painted Man were completely gone. Freddy smiled from behind the bar. His eyes glowed with purple light. We didn't all become Mega Punch, kid. Some of us just got really good at making milkshakes. Alexander smiled. Cool. So you, heal people with your milkshakes? One could say they bring all the boys to the yacht. The room was silent. It is funny, X-Axel. Shut up. Freddy's, gonna take care of you until we catch the exploding girl, Ghostman said. Alexander whirled around. What? Ghostman knocked back another milkshake like a shot. The, Slickskin is gonna take your place for now. Hey, what do you mean I'm gonna stay here? I'm Mega Punch. You need me to... Look, Ghostman got uncomfortable. This doesn't have to be... The girl's clearly... It's perfectly natural that you... That I what? Come on, Alexander. You had her right there. But you didn't confine her because you wanted to hanky-panky and swim with her at the beach. We're supposed to keep people safe. I wasn't hanky-pankying with her. Alexander's cheeks burned. Besides, what did she even do anyway? She cleared the beach before she did her explosions. She destroyed thousands of dollars of city infrastructure and is clearly an operative designed to, no offense, honeypot the ever-loving crap out of you to get information against a society of heroes. Ghostman looked uncomfortable. The ghosts give me eyes everywhere. I know what you two were talking about. She wasn't like that. She didn't even know what she was doing was wrong. Maybe I can convince her to help us. Ghostman and Dr. Insane gave each other a look. No, Ghostman said. Insane nodded. Just think of this as a summer job. It'll build character. Freddy smiled. Plus, free milkshakes. As soon as we catch her, you can go back to work. And what if I say no? Alexander clenched his fist. Hard. Ghostman got up and looked him dead in the eyes. Even though Ghostman was so much less powerful than Alexander, he'd been a superhero for over 10 years. He had defeated the Painted Man, who killed Alexander's father. He was never, ever afraid of him, or anyone. If you don't stay here with Freddy, you're off the team.
And you get replaced by Ocean Man or a foreign hero.
The robot's eyes crackled. Alexander flew towards the balcony. Dr. Insane pulled his pants off and spoke a spell. Slam! Alexander smacked into a magical wall at the balcony door and skidded across the milkshake bar's floor. Ghostman stood over him, eyes glowing. Is that really what you want, Alexander? For us to track you down and throw you back in prison? We'll catch her in a couple days. Trust me, you don't want to mess with a girl like that. Dr. Insane nodded. Girls who wear all black? Bad news. Plus, ain't you like 12? Freddy said. Frederick, not now, Dr. Insane said. Who's Frederick? I'm Freddy. Trust me, Ghostman said, flying to the balcony. We'll get her. Just stay here. Ghostman flew out into the city. Dr. Insane looked longingly into the distance. Okay, X-Axel, teleport me to where the girl is. No, I'm not going to... Fine. Insane picked up his milkshake, looked at it sadly, then poured the entire thing down his pants. Yikes! Woo! Alexander, be good. Poppy Pippus. Pop. Dr. Insane teleported away.
For what it's worth,
The machine Intelligence Man was still in the room.
I never wanted them to let you out of prison. Odds of another mass casualty event with your powers are 1 in 2. Apocalypse Man. Good name.
Alexander's eyes glowed golden. Even though the machines can't feel, Alexander could swear the machine looked afraid. Whoosh. Intelligence Man activated his rocket boots and flew into the sky. Alexander turned to Freddy and sat at the head of the table, in his dad's seat. It felt wrong that he was left behind. This sucks. Freddy, can I have another milkshake? Sure, kid. After you do some dishes. Freddy's Milkshake Bar is the most popular drink place in town. One milkshake makes you feel like Superman for 10 minutes. You can run faster, jump higher. They actually had to ban them from college sports because so many athletes were drinking them. You can have more vitality than 10 men. Which is to say that they have 57 orders per minute on a Thursday, and Freddy's doesn't believe in to-go cups. Freddy guided Alexander to the dishwashing station, which was overflowing with hundreds of classic 50s milkshake glasses. See you at 2:30. No superpowers. 2:30? Alexander looked at the clock. 8 p.m. With each dish he washed with the power washer, Alexander got more and more angry. This morning he was flying around the city, and just because of one little mistake he was washing dishes? No superpowers. Yeah, right. Alexander flew around the kitchen as fast as he could, washing dishes with light speed. He laughed as he really let loose, stretching his arms all around the kitchen, splitting them into multiple arms so he could wash glasses by hand 16 at a time. His eyes glowed. This was what he was meant to do. Freddy, I'm gonna need more glasses to... Wow, it's so hot in here, Alma said. She stood at the door in a fishnet dress and lingerie. Crash! Alexander dropped all the glasses. Alexander flew straight at her and held her against the wall by her wrist. Ow! What are you doing here, huh? Do you think this is funny? No? I'm gonna take you to Ghostman. No, I'm gonna take you to Floor 13 prison, and then I'm gonna get my life back and be a hero again. Got it? She giggled.
Do you know your hair flops around when you get all mad?
Hey, what's all the commotion back here? Freddy yelled. Mr. Freddy, come in here. Alexander turned to yell at Freddy, who was bumbling down the stairs when...
I got you something.
She gave him his cape back. The burns were fixed. It was sewn together perfectly intact.
My dad's cape.
On the inside, there was a little note.
To Mystery Boy, from your biggest fan, XOXO, Alma.
He looked up at her. No one had ever done anything so nice for him before. Alma ducked behind the kitchen door and hid. Freddy burst into the kitchen. My glasses! My 1950s glasses! How could you? Mr. Freddy, you used superpowers, didn't you? Freddy grabbed Alexander by the shirt. Didn't you? Alexander looked at Alma. From behind the door, Alma shook her head. Her eyes begged.
Don't tell him about me. Please?
He looked at her. He decided. I used my superpowers. I knew it! You reckless gimp! Freddy made Alexander clean up and then wash dishes in front of him for hours. And the whole time, Alma was watching him, smiling at him. When he finally finished, he turned to say something to Alma when, Hey kid! Alexander almost dropped a glass, but Freddy caught it. Decent job, kid. The glasses are gonna come out of your pay, but as promised, here you go. Freddy put a milkshake on the bar, about to turn towards where Alma was hiding. Alma, her hands out, was ready to activate her power. If Freddy turned around at that moment, would she hurt him? Alexander bit the inside of his cheek as hard as he could. His eyes welled up with tears.
Come on. They cut me from the team. My dad died. I just want to go to sleep.
Freddy turned back towards Alexander, his eyes filling with concern. Aw, kid. He put his arms out for a hug. Come here. Alma slipped out the door as Freddy gave Alexander a hug. She looked over her shoulder. I miss him too, Freddy said. Alexander paced in the small guest bedroom in Freddy's apartment. Freddy lived below the superhero restaurant with beautiful 360-degree views of the city.
Hi.
Alexander spun around, suddenly conscious of how he was standing, what he was doing. Alma climbed through the window like a cat, her see-through dress clinging to her body.
You shouldn't be here. Oh, really?
She raised an eyebrow.
I'll just see myself out then.
She turned around and raised her leg to leave. Wait. Alexander ran his hand through his hair. This was stupid. He knew it was stupid. She turned around.
Yeah?
He sighed. Have a seat. She walked past the chairs in the corner of the room, brushed Alexander's chest with her hair, and sat on the bed like it was her own. Alexander couldn't look at her. He turned away from her, looking at the city skyline. She laughed.
Thanks for protecting me back there. But I can really protect myself.
I wasn't protecting you. He felt hot and stupid and weird. She was in his bedroom and she was wearing... Why was she never wearing...
Oh yeah?
She was never wearing anything because of him. Because he liked it. Ghostman was right. Alexander turned around. Do you think I'm stupid or something?
Do you...
What? Alexander was on top of her in a second, pinning her hands apart on the bed. His eyes burned golden. She flushed, breathing out. Do you think I'm stupid? She squirmed under his grip. You caught me. I'm not going any... Answer the question.
Of course not. I like you. I have a...
Yeah, right. What are you... He fiddled with her net dress and lingerie, looking for signs. She seemed so in control before, but now her face was flush. Are you a machine or something? Are you working for Painted Man or... He didn't see anything. She looked up at him, the red heart on her head inches from his face, breathing heavy. He was looking for signs she was here to kill him, but she was breathless for a different reason. Alexander flew back 10 feet. God, I'm sorry. No, it's... I hate this. He flew away from her and looked out at the sky. I had to turn you into prison now. It's the only way I can get back on my team. Alma's footsteps got closer to him. She put her hand around his waist and put her head against his lower back.
Do you have to put me in prison tonight?
Like,
ever since I saw you, I wanted to meet you.
She tugged at her see-through dress.
I know I'm not pretty enough, but I just wanted you to like me. Just go on one date with me. It's hard for me to not scare people away.
Alexander softened. Ghostman said that they were there to help people. Maybe helping lonely people was a part of his job description. If I take you out tonight, will you let me take you to the other heroes and explain yourself? She smiled.
Like, on a date?
No, Alexander would rather do anything else. He would rather fly into the sun. Yeah, on a date. She smiled a bright smile. The heart on her forehead glowed.
Okay.
My dad used to do this all the time, but he put his arms out. Climb on. She climbed into his arms. The fishnet didn't really stop him from feeling her skin. He tried to think about something other than how good it felt to hold her.
You're so stiff.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Let's go. Boom. They flew out over the city. The wind whipped, but Alexander smiled. Alexander was nervous. Maybe he was going too fast for... Woo! She screamed. Faster! Alexander laughed. Okay. He dove towards the pavement as fast as he could. People looked up at him as he went so fast as to shed off heat. He was glowing like a mini sun. Alma got scared and clung to his neck. Slow down! I thought you said faster. Her eyes filled with panic as they went faster towards the ground. Mega punch, slow down, I swear to... Boom. They stopped an inch from the pavement. Diagonal.
Are we dead?
No. You said slow down. She punched him in the arm, laughing.
Again.
He picked her up and flew into the sky around the Nighthawk building, over the dark nighttime ocean. Let me try, she said, pushing off him and plummeting towards the ground. But the force must have been too much for her. She screamed, blacking out, fainting, falling towards the ground. Alma! Alexander dove down towards her, went kaboom. She exploded, shooting past him, laughing. Gotcha! But something went wrong. She got too far forward from an explosion and couldn't keep the chain going. She was going to fall. But Alexander was there. Oof! She crashed into him, and he grabbed her before she could fall.
Wow, this is what I can't do,
she said.
Float like this. See like this.
They floated in the middle of the sky as the sun rose. He looked into her eyes.
Well, maybe next time we can...
She pursed her lips. The heart tattoo on her forehead seemed to glow. She leaned close to him, her lips brushing his ear.
Can I give you some girl advice?
She whispered.
Girl advice? Kiss me.
Alexander almost dropped her. She laughed, leaning in. Alexander took a deep breath, then kissed her. Alexander had been shocked so bad he forgot his name in prison. He had flown free as a bird over a crowd of people who loved him. Kissing her was the most terrifying and the most wonderful thing he'd ever done in his life. They kissed for a while, then he pulled away from her, smiling. She looked away from him, shy.
Oh, did I? No, I was just gonna say something crazy.
What's crazy?
No, it's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. Tell me. She looked at him, and while before she was all confidence and black lace bikinis, now she was actually scared.
I'm in love with you. And I don't even know your name.
Love. Whoa.
Ah,
Alexander almost dropped her. His heart was beating so fast. No one had ever said that to him before. Not his dad, not his family, no one. He looked away, then looked back at her and saw that she was crying. I knew that it was crazy. Boom. She exploded away from him. Alma! Alexander flew after her, but she exploded again, bigger and more destructive. The explosion hit him off guard. He flew back, spinning, losing sight of her. Hey! But when he looked back for her, she was gone. Alexander washed dishes, the normal way. Freddy made sure of it. He looked over behind the closet at Alma's hiding spot. Empty. He wanted to fly into the center of the earth. Freddy looked at him. What do you think, the magic dishwashing elf is gonna jump out from behind that door? Scrub, kid. It builds character. Alexander dunked his head into the dishwasher. Hey! Freddy pulled him out of the water. I can't. Just fire me. Just throw me back in jail. Throw you back in... Freddy looked at him in his eyes. And Freddy understood. Alexander sat on the floor. He put his head in his hands. Freddy sat next to him on the floor. Don't sit on the gross floor with me. Gross! I'm insulted. Freddy prides ourselves on our cleanliness. Look, kid, I loved your father, but he's not here right now, is he? Alexander looked around. No. No. So I gotta do what he would do in this situation, even though I'm not him and I never had a kid. Understand? I understand. Good. So, do you understand that you are the most important superhero on Earth? What? No, Ghostman is the equivalent of a slapped-together Matchbox car. He just knows a few tricks. You, kid, you're a Lamborghini. Alexander put his head in his hands.
I don't feel like a Lamborghini.
Well, that's because you're dumb. Alexander stopped crying. What? Yeah, I said it. Dumb. You're freaking 14 years old. Of course you're dumb. But that girl? There's no girl. There's a girl, kid. If she's got you feeling like this, she's smart as a whip. And she's trash. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't deserve her. Oh, jeez. You can fly. You can fight hero-killing monsters and win, and you still don't think you're good enough? You were willing to frickin' lose your hero privileges and go back in jail for her, and she's not good enough for you? Really? She said she loves me. Well, of course she does, bozo. Slap. He slapped Alexander across the face. Ow! This is textbook. She gets you to fall for her, then you do whatever she wants. This is how it works. Alexander stood up. His face went red. Screw this. You don't even know her. Kid, think about this before you... Boom. Alexander flew out of the restaurant. He had to get away. Had to find her. He messed everything up. The city was on fire. Kaboom. Oh no. Alexander flew as fast as he could. There she was at the center of the flames, and standing across from her was Ghostman. Calm down, Jennifer. Your parents are here. Just let me... No one loves me! Kaboom. Ghostman went transparent, dodging her explosion. From above, Intelligence Man shot foam at the flames, trying to fight them, but there were too many. Invisicus! Dr. Insane appeared from behind Jennifer and threw a magic net over her. It tightened all around her body. She squirmed wildly on the ground, screaming and crying. Love doesn't exist! I want it all to burn to the ground! Dr. Insane wiped his hands on his pants. Ah, teenagers. Threat neutralized, old bean. I've got her. Ghostman and Dr. Insane went to grab the net, holding the girl he loved. No. Alexander crashed into the ground in front of them. He stretched his hands out into knives. His eyes glowed golden. Alma struggled in the net, but it went tighter, cutting into her skin. He had to help her. I'm not gonna let you hurt Alma! Ghostman's eyes glowed green. Alexander, you don't know what you're talking about. Her name isn't Alma. Her name is Jennifer Carrington, and she's a 17-year-old paranoid schizophrenic who Mephisto pumped full of knockoff superhero serum. That's not true! Alma screamed, going ballistic. Don't listen to him! She was struggling so much. She was bleeding. She was screaming so much it was like she would die. Alexander's stomach dropped. Ghostman had never lied to him before, but he turned around. He looked into Alma's terrified eyes, and in them was love. Alexander turned around. He gritted his teeth. I'm getting her out of here. Don't stop me. I don't want to hurt you. Alexander, please, Insane said. Be reasonable. Oh, he's far past reasonable, Ghostman said, putting his hands up to fight. He's just as crazy as his girlfriend. Alexander sped as fast as he could into a jumping Superman punch down onto Ghostman. Ghostman went halfway transparent into the ground, then grabbed Alexander's foot and pulled him under. He let go and Alexander's leg went solid, getting crushed with the pressure of being underground.
Don't hurt him!
Alma screamed. Ugh. Alexander tried to spin around and force himself out of the ground when, boink! Dr. Insane smacked his butt, then his eyes glowed. Sorry, kid. Noxus Eternus. The air was ripped out of Alexander's lungs. All of Alexander's power came from the air. In 10 seconds, he wouldn't have strength. In 20 seconds, he would start dying. Intelligence Man flew down with electric hands, ready to shock him. Ugh! Alexander pulled his crushed leg out of the ground, then roundhouse kicked Intelligence Man into Dr. Insane. 800 pounds of machine fell right into Dr. Insane's face. The spell broke. He fell to the ground in a spray of blood. No! Ghostman went transparent through Alexander, then telekinized 6 cars into a metal prison around Alexander's limbs. He telekinized 2 huge pillars into metal boxing gloves, then slam. He punched Alexander in the face. I made a mistake when I let you out. You're just a slam. Stupid slam. Alexander saw stars. Slam. Kid. Alexander spit out blood. Crash. Ghostman's metal hands wrapped around Alexander's throat. The air was crushed out of his lungs. Alma was crying. Please help me, baby. Please. Ah! Alexander stretched through the cracks in the metal car prison and stabbed through Ghostman's hands with pieces of his skin. Ugh. The car prison went away. Alexander pulled his body together. Everybody hates me anyway, right? Blam. Alexander punched hard enough to crack a building in half. Ghostman barely went transparent just in time. I'm just a killer, right? Alexander stretched out his arms around Ghostman's neck, trapping him in a prison of stretched mass. Ghostman tried to go transparent, but he ran out of transparency. Alexander stood over him, the black hole opening in his chest. He'd held himself together for so long, but now that Alma was in danger, he was going to let it go. You're not my dad, right? Alexander thought Ghostman would beg for his life. He thought he would say he was sorry. Have I ever lied to you, Alexander? She needs help, and so do you. The last thing you crazy little children need is a relationship. And Alexander was choking him to kill. Ghostman's face went red, but his eyes never left Alexander's. They weren't eyes of someone that hated him, or even someone that feared him. Ghostman pitied him, and he pitied himself for not raising him right. It's Nakey time! Dr. Insane ripped his pants off, and then his eyes glowed. Noxus Eternus. All of the air left Alexander's lungs. He fell onto the ground. He thrashed and tried to use his powers, but he had no strength. He couldn't breathe. He tried to flail for something to use, but Intelligence Man landed on him and shocked him with all he had. Alexander was invulnerable. It was hard to hurt him, but the voltage Intelligence Man used was specifically designed to hurt him. And seeing her, Alma, Jennifer, whoever she was, seeing the girl he loved in pain was the worst pain he'd ever felt. Back to floor 13 with you? What a waste of potential. Alexander sat in the prison cell made for him at the bottom of the ocean. It was gold and had golden chains around his every extremity. He had nothing but time to think about what he'd done. He thought about Alma, kissing her, flying above the city, defending her. And he didn't regret it. Not really. After all, it was good that he felt some love, a little bit, before he was locked away. Everyone deserves a little love. He thought about Ghostman's disappointed face. Baby? Alma ran out and hugged him. Alexander's eyes widened. Alma? How are you? She kissed his lips, his face, his eyes. Alma started crying. I'm here now, baby. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, be quiet. Someone snapped his fingers. She stepped back compliantly, like a robot, into the shadows. Alexander's eyes widened. Someone was controlling her. Mephisto, the bald, super genius villain that Alexander and the Society had put in prison last week, chuckled. I didn't think it would work. Ghostman did tell you everything before you went against him. He smiled a huge smile. My little girl slave sabotaged that little truck engine and got a super boyfriend. It's so cute. Alexander's heart dropped. His love shattered. Alma struggled against her heart tattoo, which glowed red. Mephisto controlled her with his hand, easily as breathing. Alexander could see that he was controlling her now, making her move towards the door. "Well, thanks for weakening Ghostman for me. I'm going to go kill him now," he smiled. Auf Wiedersehen. Mephisto walked out of the cell. Alma struggled against the controller. She looked back at him, longing and sad. She fought against the glowing red heart on her head. She clenched her fists and concentrated. "Come on." Her eyes glowed red. Crack. The heart tattoo on her head cracked in two. She ran up to him, then stopped, shy. Alexander leaned in to hold her, but she stayed out of reach. "I'm sorry." She pulled at the sleeves of her prison jumpsuit. "I didn't have a choice." Alexander realized that he wasn't the only one who was lonely. Alma smiled. "It was nice to pretend for a while." She went to the door, then looked back at him. "Don't give up on love, okay?" She slammed the door, and Alexander screamed. The black hole in his chest opened. He stretched and struggled and flew against the chains, but the chains wouldn't let him go. Alexander was alone again. Ghostman knocked back his seventh milkshake. He felt like garbage. He was garbage. "Stop beating yourself up. There was nothing you could do." Dr. Insane lay on a table at Freddy's, trying to push cotton balls into his nose. "Do you want a milkshake?" Freddy asked. "No! I was never meant to lead this stupid team," Ghostman said. "And I definitely wasn't meant to mess up another kid's life." He pulled out his wallet and looked at a picture of him and his daughter in it. And on the other side of his wallet, across it, was a picture of Ghostman and Alexander. Intelligence Man chirped. "Sirs, but we have to make do with what we have, because people need to be protected, no matter what the—" "Sirs, excuse me." Ghostman and Dr. Insane spun around. "What?" "Mephisto has escaped Floor 13 prison." Ghostman limped towards the balcony. "Oh, great. We just have a great fight, and now we have to do another fight. Okay. How do you get through security?" "That's the thing, sir." Intelligence Man shook with fear. Genuine fear. "The Painted Man is with him." Ghostman gasped. "Alexander?" It was a scene from a nightmare. Hundreds of dead robots convulsing on the ground, a dripping monster made of black paint skulking down the prison hallway with a fake white smile on his face, towards his cell. The cell that held the most powerful superhuman in the world, a 14-year-old boy. Terrified, as his worst nightmare, the monster that kills superheroes for fun, slipped through the crack under his door.
"Your shadow's coming. Someone cut me off your feet."
Ghostman thought he knew things. There were heroes and there were villains. Heroes kept the villains at bay, and Mega City was safe. But everything changed when he came to town. When that black, dripping creature, that thing made of paint, the Painted Man, went and killed all the heroes, everything was wrong. And now, the Painted Man was about to kill Mega City's last hope. If Alexander died, the Society of Heroes wouldn't have enough firepower to keep the city safe. They would all die. The city would fall to the villains. Ghostman would not let that happen. Truth is, Ghostman already lost one kid, his daughter Sabrina. If he lost one more, he would have nothing left. Ding. The doors opened. They stepped out of the elevator into the prison hallway. Ghostman, the king of ghosts. He can fly and use telekinesis, talk to ghosts, the leader of the Society of Heroes. Dr. Insane, the magic doctor. He can cast any magic spell he wants, but he has to do a punishment made by his imaginary friend, the demon Exaxel, to do it. He does something stupid, then he can call fire or summon a zombie. Intelligence Man, a hero killer robot turned superhero. His electricity and intelligence powers make him a valuable asset to the team, but his robot mind means his allegiances are unclear. But they were missing their fourth member, Mega Punch, Alexander, the 14-year-old boy, the most powerful superhuman, with the strength of a god who could fly and stretch himself to any shape he could imagine, who lost control of his powers, who they had to throw in jail, who was now in danger of the Painted Man getting to him. Ghostman couldn't believe he'd been so stupid. Wait, this isn't right, Dr. Insane said. Intelligence Man was shaking, looking up at the ceiling.
What's that?
Ghostman looked up to see the ceiling completely covered in black paint. He looked down to see robot corpses everywhere. The Painted Man was here. Hero killer robots that were supposed to take any superpowered threat and handle it, all dead.
Impossible,
Intelligence Man said, shaking even harder.
just impossible.
How big is he? Dr. Insane said. Where are his organs? How does he touch? How does he feel? The liquid shook a little, like it was amused, like it was laughing. Ghostman flew up to the ceiling, reached into his pocket, and poured salt onto the black paint. Immediately, the liquid melted and burned. It screamed like a bug getting squashed, and the Painted Man pulled himself deeper and deeper into the darkness, down the hallway. They'd found out that the Painted Man is weak to salt. It breaks his body down somehow. Still, every time they melt him down, he keeps coming back. Ghostman flew down the hallway. Come on! Intelligence Man flew after him. Gah! Why am I the only one who can't fly? Dr. Insane ran after them. The Painted Man was out of view, but Ghostman was already flying after him. The darkness was deafening, blinding. Intelligence! Lights! Behind him, Intelligence Man turned on a flashlight, showing the floor was covered in dead bodies. Some robots, mostly prisoners. Drained prisoners, with every bit of liquid in their entire body sucked out of it, leaving them husks. Hold it. Ghostman landed next to a prisoner's corpse. His eyes glowed green. The prisoner, a henchman for the villain the Lion God, came out of the shadows. What happened here? The ghost was shaking, traumatized. Answer me. The ghost was shaking still. He stuttered. Ghostman looked down the hallway. He couldn't speak. He was in shock. Even in death, the prisoner's ghost was in shock. Ghostman softened. Ghosts can't rest until they have their revenge. I'll stop him for you, I promise. The ghost looked at him with hope. Ghostman sighed. You made some bad choices, but doesn't mean you were a bad person. You can rest now. The ghost smiled, fading into the darkness. And you say, I'm insane, Dr. Insane chuckled, out of breath from running down the hallway. The ghosts are too terrified to speak. I've never seen that before. Intelligence Man's eyes glowed. He's here. Battle positions, now! Shunk. A black tentacle of paint cut Intelligence Man's arm off. Ah! The robot's scream sounded human, almost. Axaxel, I need magic! I need magic now! Dr. Insane ducked under a tendril of paint that almost cut his head off. The Painted Man laughed. He only laughed when others were in pain. Whatever. Ghostman didn't have time for games. Ghostman's eyes glowed as he poured salt onto the ground, using his telekinesis to fan it out in all directions. Ugh! The Painted Man grunted. He heard slithering deeper into the darkness of the hallway. They might be afraid, but we know how to beat him. Dr. Insane reattached Intelligence Man's arm. Should be as good as new. Intelligence Man shook in fear. I froze. We can debate your performance later, Ghostman said. Come on. They flew down the hallway and the corpses thinned out. Seriously, why am I the only one who can't fly? Ghostman stopped in front of a cell door, one that was still intact. Well, he didn't release the Lion God. Small blessings, Dr. Insane said. The Lion God was the only prisoner in here worse than the Painted Man. It had taken every hero to capture him, and even then, they had basically just gotten lucky. Inside the cell was an emaciated-looking man with a metal container over his mouth, a gag that went into his entire mouth that kept his tongue immobilized, so he couldn't tell lies. Lion God, where's the Painted Man? Did he talk to you? As soon as the Lion God saw Ghostman, he started punching the door. Oh, come on, you're not indestructible. You'll just break your hand. The Lion God didn't care. He broke his hand beating the door, trying to get to Ghostman. Oh, you're mad now. Do you know how many bodies you stacked in my hospital morgue, you piece of trash? Axaxel, give me a spell to teach him some manners, Dr. Insane said. Ghostman put his hand on Dr. Insane's shoulder. Not now. The Lion God, Class A, reality manipulation, powers,
all the lies he tells come true, Intelligence Man said. He's powerful enough to defeat the Painted Man.
Are you crazy? I don't know what your little computer says, Slickskin, but the Lion God would only kill us and escape if we set him free.
The Lion God wasn't listening. He was just beating the prison door, trying to get out, so bad his hand was bleeding all over the cell floor, and every single one of his fingers was broken. What's he doing?
He may hate me and everything I stand for because I'm the one who snuck up on him when he was sleeping and put that little contraption on his face.
The Lion God knit his brows together and beat the prison door stronger.
The doors are designed for super strength. I wouldn't wear yourself out. I'm not afraid of you. Your powers just make you a spoiled kid. Thing is, when you grow up able to do anything, anyone who tells you no becomes your worst enemy. Isn't that right, Lion God?
The Lion God seethed with rage, reached up and struggled against his restraints.
Dr. Insane stepped back.
Ghostman, don't you think we should...
No.
Ghostman saw in his peripheral vision the Painted Man's tentacle creeping towards the door, trying to set the Lion God free. But Ghostman telekinized Salt to slash the tentacle away from the rest of his body.
Gotcha.
The Painted Man screamed. The entire hallway shook. But Ghostman smiled. Things were turning around.
Ghostman used telekinesis to put the tentacle in front of him.
The piece of ooze floating in front of Ghostman struggled, trying to get back to the Painted Man's body.
That's it. Show us where he is. Come on, Intelligence. Carry Insane.
Absolutely not. Dr. Insane put his hands on his hips. Ghostman raised an eyebrow.
Hi-ya!
Ghostman and Intelligence Man flew as fast as they could through the prison hallways. They stopped to check on the worst villains, Siddhartha, Eamon Bask, and a few other villains. But the Painted Man had kept them contained. Ghostman had a feeling he did.
I thought he wanted to cause as much chaos as possible, Dr. Insane said.
Releasing them only takes away his attention,
Ghostman chuckled. He looked at the piece of the Painted Man's body he had floating with telekinesis.
Isn't that right?
The piece of the body formed a face. The Painted Man's face. Last time Ghostman had seen that face, the Painted Man was telling him he had his daughter. She was alive.
You're wondering if he's still alive down there, aren't you?
Ghostman tensed.
The boy you failed? The boy you tried to convince he could be anything other than a monster. But guess what? Where he's going, it doesn't matter if he's a monster or not. Just ask the doctor from hell.
Dr. Insane tensed. The face faded.
Where's Alexander? Is he still alive?
Ghostman screamed at the ball of paint. But the ball of paint didn't move.
No more horsing around. We have to check Alexander's cell.
It would be my honor.
Dr. Insane's eyes glowed.
Axaxel, take us to his cell.
Oh, come on.
All right, Dr. Insane sighed. Then he stripped down to his underwear and started dragging his butt all over the floor.
Can't you just say the spell without doing the punishment?
My demon has to tell me the spell, and my demon has the sense of humor of a 5-year-old.
Do you know how many people walk on these floors? How bad supervillains are at personal hygiene?
You think this is funny?
Dr. Insane said, dragging himself on the floor. He spit on the floor.
I'm a germaphobe. Axaxel knows this and does this to punish me.
Intelligence Man and Ghostman watched him drag himself. Ghostman suppressed a laugh. Then he beat himself up. He didn't deserve to be happy until he knew Alexander was safe. Dr. Insane finished dragging himself around the floor and spoke.
Fey Alamis.
A portal of red energy opened up. Insane's face lit up with confidence.
Oh, he's right. A tentacle of black paint flew through the portal and dragged Dr. Insane inside it. No! Ah!
Insane!
Ghostman tried to dive into the portal, but it was too late. The portal closed and Ghostman skidded across the floor. Dr. Insane was gone. The bulb of paint laughed at Ghostman.
How many of your friends have to die before you see Ghostman? How many of your kids do I have to kill?
Ghostman's eyes glowed green.
You don't have Sabrina. You're bluffing.
Sabrina has a cowlick in her hair that makes it stand up straight. She likes to push it down with a headband.
Ghostman's stomach dropped.
Where is she? Where's Alexander? Where's Dr. Insane?
But the bulb went silent, mocking him. Ghostman grabbed his hair in rage.
Sir,
Intelligence Man said. I'm fine. His eyes glowed. He searched for Dr. Insane's ghost. No sign.
He searched for Alexander's ghost. No sign. He searched for Sabrina's ghost, like he always did, every single night. Nothing. It had been so long, Ghostman thought her ghost already left Earth. But now he knew. Everyone he loved was still alive. He shook. He was afraid. Because how much longer they would be alive is another question.
I don't know if I can do this.
Intelligence Man was shaking harder than before.
Dr. Insane is a Class A magic user. If he can defeat him, then...
Are you serious?
Your odds of survival are 1 in 64,000. You can't possibly expect...
Then leave. That's the job. And the job doesn't have time for cowards. Ghostman floated down the hallway, ready to leave the robot in the dust. He sighed. But I need help. I need heroes to help me. I'm not strong enough. Intelligence Man shook harder, trembling.
I can secure the perimeter, at least keep him contained, but...
Intelligence Man shook. He looked at the corpses of the robot guards on the floor.
I know I don't have life like you do, but I don't want to lose what I have. I'm sorry.
The robot guard flew down the hallway. Fine, you're off the team. Leave. Intelligence Man turned around, faced him.
History will remember you, you know. The superhero who never gave up.
Ghostman clenched his fist. And what is history gonna call this time, anyway?
Newspapers are already calling it the end of superheroes.
The Painted Man laughed in the darkness. Everything he wanted was coming true. It only ends if you give up. You have to keep fighting. That could be you. That could be anyone. Intelligence Man sighed.
Don't you see? It can't be me. It can only be you.
He rocketed down the hallway, away from Ghostman, to the elevator leading out of the prison. Ghostman sighed. The Painted Man's face appeared on the ball of paint. He spoke.
That's how you always end up, Ghostman. That's what being a hero makes you. Alone.
Ghostman looked at the bulb of paint. What game are you playing, anyway? I know they're still alive. What's stopping you? The Painted Man laughed. Tentacles creeped into the hallway where Ghostman was.
I want you to watch as I drown them. I want you to see that everything you did was for nothing. That's when superheroes truly end.
Ghostman flung salt at the tentacles and they creeped down the hallway.
Run, run, little hero.
The Painted Man smiled in the bulb.
Run as fast as you...
Ghostman poured salt on the bulb. The Painted Man screamed when it melted. I'll never be like you. Ghostman looked down the hallway. He remembered the last time he fought Painted Man, 1-on-1. The monster had stabbed him in the chest and almost ripped his body apart. He needed help. It wasn't hard to find his cell. After all, Ghostman had put him there. He looked in. He was still sitting there. He had nowhere else to go. A huge squid man in golden armor. Ocean Man, one of the 4 most powerful superhumans in history. Member of the Society of Heroes since its founding, able to control saltwater and sea creatures. An invaluable ability to lead a city in the ocean. All Ocean Man ever wanted was peace and justice for his people, and he was willing to fight on land with the surface dwellers in the Society of Heroes to do so. And the Society of Heroes, led by Megapunch, had killed his son because his son was prophesied to start an apocalypse. Ocean Man had tried to destroy Mega City in a tsunami after. Ghostman and the old team stopped him, then threw him down here in jail. The truth is, if Ghostman did what he wanted to do, he wasn't strong enough to put him back. But desperate times were desperate. Hey, Ocean Man turned around. Ghostman, but you want to be free? Ocean Man's eyes glowed with deep longing. Yes. Help me save my friends, and I'll do it. The Squid Man got to his feet, 9 feet tall with glowing golden armor. He was strong enough to lift a bus over his head. We used to be friends once, Ocean Man's eyes glowed. But those days died with my son. If you let me out, you're not my friend. I'll feed you and your friends to the sharks. The surface world has to pay for what they did to my ocean.
I know, and I don't care. Ocean Man's eyes widened.
You...
That's right. I don't care.
But the humans... I'll kill thousands. Surely you must.
Ghostman opened the prison cell door. Ocean Man struggled against his restraints. He tensed, worried. I know you. You wouldn't let innocent people die.
I will,
Ocean Man screamed. You won't. You haven't killed anyone. Not yet. You were angry. You were upset. But I know you wouldn't hurt them. But that thing down there, the thing that has my friends, Ghostman sighed. That thing I know too. And he's not gonna stop until we're all dead. It doesn't matter if it's Ocean Dweller or man. Ghostman used telekinesis to snap Ocean Man's restraints off. Ocean Man looked at his pink hands in shock. He hadn't seen them in almost a year. Ocean Man grew 3 sizes and smashed Ghostman against the wall of his cell.
The Society of Heroes killed my son. I have to kill you.
He looked away from him, at the ground.
I have to.
Do you know I quit the team that day, after we locked you up? Ocean Man's eyes widened. I'm not in the business of killing kids, even giant monster kids toddling towards a city.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I thought you knew me. I thought you knew that the death of anyone and anything is a tragedy to me. I talk to their ghosts. I see dead people all the time, but that monster has my friends, Ocean. He has my friends, and he'll kill them because he thinks it's funny, and that's a risk I don't care about taking.
I could kill you, Ghostman. I could snap your neck before you go transparent. It would be easy.
It would. For a moment, Ghostman let the silence hang. He didn't go transparent. He let himself be completely vulnerable. But you won't do it. I know you won't. Ghostman went transparent and floated to the ground. He put his hand out to shake. And we just had a member quit, so... What do you say? Do you want to be a Society of Heroes member again? Ocean Man slapped Ghostman's hand away.
I could escape here in seconds. I could drown you. I could...
But you won't. You're a good man, Ocean. You always have been. You just had a little bit of bad luck. I know it. I know what it's like to lose a child. For one moment, Ocean Man stood still. Then he burst into tears.
You too, don't you?
Ghostman hugged him, the huge squid monster, as he cried. And Ghostman held back tears too, because he missed his daughter, and because he'd missed his friend. Ocean Man was lost, just like when Ghostman was when Sabrina died.
Mega Punch killed my son.
I know.
He has to pay.
He did. He's in the ground now. But a kid on my team is in danger. A kid we can save. Together. Ocean Man dried the saltwater tears from his eyes. Together! Clank. A tendril of black paint threw something metal onto the floor of the cell. Ghostman's face darkened. The metal thing was Intelligence Man's head. Another guard! But no, another hero. Just one more hero he killed. Just like Mega Punch and the others. Come on. Ghostman walked through the halls of the prison with Ocean Man at his side. The prisoners still in the cells cowered when they saw him. Ocean Man flexed his muscles, enjoying it. It was a calculated risk. Ghostman knew Ocean Man still cared. Pain did a lot of things, but it didn't change who you are. Good people can make mistakes. They're still good. And monsters, like the Painted Man, took advantage of that. Monsters that had to go down. They rounded a corner, and at the end of the hallway was Alexander's cell. They could still see the warning on it. Warning, extreme danger. The cell was covered in bubbling black paint. You can generate salt water, right? Ocean Man smiled. As much as can fill an ocean. He hates salt water. Use it on my signal. Then let's... From the cell, the Painted Man spoke.
If you bring that disgusting squid in here, I'll make sure the boy and the doctor drown. I'll make sure of it.
On my mark, Ghostman said. Ghostman and Ocean Man were about to go into the cell, ignoring the Painted Man's warning. 1,
Please!
Ghostman froze. Alexander's voice, he sounded hurt.
Listen to him! It hurts so bad, Uncle Ghosty! Please!
Ghostman tensed. Alexander, you're alive. And that moment was all he needed. Tentacles of black paint grabbed Ocean Man by the face, the arms, the neck, the back, the legs. Ah! He shot salt water everywhere, melting the paint in places, but it was wild. He couldn't see. The painted man sent tentacles of black paint to cover him, pulling him into the cell. No! Ghostman grabbed his salt, went to throw it.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare throw that. You know when you've been beaten, don't you?
Ghostman fell to his knees. All his best laid plans, worthless. He spoke out into the darkness. Why can't I save the people I love? And the darkness responded in the painted man's voice.
Because you're not good enough, Ghostman. It doesn't matter how many lucky breaks you get. You're just not good enough. Give up. Give in and let me show you the true meaning of pain. Let me show you how stupid all this suffering was.
And in the darkness, in that moment, Ghostman wanted to. Just a little.
Leave the salt at the door if you want to see them survive.
Ghostman steeled his jaw. He dropped his salt canisters on the ground. He stepped into Alexander's cell, into the black paint. Shalunk. The paint ate into his skin, his body, his face. Ghostman tried to go transparent, but the pain was too much. No!
Yes.
Ghostman was pulled deep into the cell, into the painted man's body. He saw the painted man's face. His huge, bulbous eyes, his white, fake lips, not human, pretending to be human. He saw the corpses of the leader mechs, hero massacre bots strong enough to kill godlike heroes, broken. And he saw his friends, Dr. Insane and Alexander, Ocean Man, covered in shifting black paint. And they were screaming in pain also, melting in the black paint that was the painted man's body. The painted man laughed.
Don't you see just how alone you are, Ghostman?
The tendrils of black paint went on Ocean Man, Alexander, and Dr. Insane's faces. They convulsed as he started drowning them, laughing as he did. No, please, don't kill them. Kill me instead.
I don't care about them. The one I have to break is you.
The painted man materialized a knife from somewhere, the blade from an arm of a hero killer.
You think you're better than me? Better. Because you won't do whatever it takes to get what you want.
He pulled up the lion god, restraint over his face still on, hand still broken, face twisted in pain.
You're gonna have to choose, Ghosty Boy. Your best friends, or this monster. This speck of worthless trash is a mass murderer. He's killed thousands, declaring himself king of the world. By your logic, he's not worthy to clean the boots of the devil in hell. Kill him, or I kill your friends and help him escape. Kill him, and I'll prove to you that being like me is what you were always meant to be.
Ghostman tried to go transparent. He tried to use telekinesis. But the paint was eating into him. The pain hurt too bad. It was eating into his skin now. He would die soon. His friends were drowning. They wouldn't last much longer. Okay, Ghostman screamed. He put his hand out for the knife. The painted man pulled the paint away from his body. The painted man's huge face loomed forward. He smiled, a white-lipped, white smile.
Kill him.
Ghostman put the knife up to the lion god's throat. He looked at the lion god's terrified eyes. He saw into them, and he related to how desperate he was, how lonely he was. The lion god was a selfish monster who killed for fun, but the lion god was like him. Ghostman cut through the restraint on the lion god's mouth, freeing it to speak. No! The painted man screamed, but it was too late. The painted man goes to hell, the lion god screamed. Every lie the lion god told came true. That's what made him powerful. Reality altered around his lies. And the monster of black paint,
the thing that was so invincible and everywhere, drowning everyone, faded into nothing. The pockets of paint that the Painted Man had stashed away in different parts of the world for when he died faded too. The Painted Man faded off the face of the earth, away from the world. "Sabrina! Where's Sabrina?" Ghostman screamed. But he was screaming at nothing. The Painted Man was gone. Ghostman watched as Dr. Insane, Alexander, and Ocean Man woke from a trance, staring at him. Ghostman ran up to Alexander. "I'm sorry, Uncle Ghosty." Alexander had turned against Ghostman and Dr. Insane. He'd almost killed them, trying to save a villain girl he thought he was in love with. He was untrained and emotional, a danger to himself and everyone else in Mega City. Ghostman hugged Alexander, hugged him as hard as he could. Tears brimmed in his eyes. "You're alive," he said. And he thought of his daughter, Sabrina. Was she alive too? Was it all a lie? "Ghost," Dr. Insane said. Insane and Ocean Man squared off with the Lion God, who took off the rest of the restraint on his mouth with his broken hand. The Lion God looked into Ghostman's eyes. He looked at him. "Team, get into position!" "Ghostman and his friends can't move," the Lion God said. Ghostman froze. His eyes widened. The Lion God dusted himself off. He stood, staring at Ghostman. He picked up the knife off the ground and put it to Ghostman's neck. "Payback time. Huh." But then he looked at the knife. He sighed. He put it down. "Just this time, hero." The Lion God strolled out of the cell like he had all the time in the world. Because he did. The world was in grave danger. The Lion God was going to attack Mega City and try to enslave everyone. Ghostman looked to his immobilized friends. Alexander, safe and alive, his eyes glowing. Ocean Man, no longer in prison, ready to fight with them. Dr. Insane, meeting his eyes. When the Lion God's curse wore off, they would fight. Maybe Ghostman made a mistake, but he didn't feel that way. Because even though one of the worst supervillains Mega City had ever seen was let loose on the city, the Painted Man was gone. The Painted Man was dead. At least, that's what he thought. But the thing the Lion God said was very specific. The Painted Man goes to hell. He didn't think hell was a real place. He meant it as a figure of speech. But the magic is very specific. The man made of black paint grasped the hot black sand on the ground. He looked up and saw a world of fire. A red-skinned demon smiled a big smile at him.
Welcome to Demon World, Inkspot. The name's Exaxle.
The Painted Man tried to slash out with pain at him, but Exaxle slapped a golden collar around his neck before he could. Gold energy arced through his body. The Painted Man couldn't move. Exaxle's eyes glowed, and the Painted Man kneeled in front of him. His slave.
You're gonna help me take over this joint. I'm the future king of Demon World.
Next, the Lion God's royal court. Thanks for watching. Bye. The security guard thought he'd seen it all, but today was so much worse. See, what he guarded was worth $10,000 per pound. What he guarded was rare meat. Shark meat, armadillo meat, stingray meat, lemur meat. Stuff rich clientele like to eat and show off to their friends that they could afford it. Stuff it's illegal to kill and eat, but people still eat anyway. It wasn't by the book, but he rarely saw the dark side of it. He was just paid to guard. It wasn't something law enforcement or the Society of Heroes really cared about. But still, with how much he got paid, eventually it would catch up to him. He saw his buddy bleeding out on the warehouse floor. His arm was gone, cut off at the shoulder. The wound was messy, jagged, like a polar bear bit his arm off. He tried to save him, but it was too late. As he died, the guard just kept saying,
"Oh God, oh God, oh God."
The security guard strapped the flashlight to his gun. He didn't know who killed his buddy, but he was gonna find him. He rounded the corner towards the refrigerator section. Propping the door open of one of the huge industrial refrigerator was, the security guard almost vomited. His buddy's right arm, smashed in the door, blood already frozen on the floor. "Hey!" he screamed. He put his gun up and narrowed his eyes. "There's only one way out, buddy, so come on out before I blast you open." If he didn't kill this guy, the boss would surely kill him. He would not let that happen.
Blast me open.
The fridge door creaked open. The security guard fired, but there was no one in the meat storage. What was the meat stored in there? Elephant? Giraffe? And how did the door open if no one was in there? He saw at the top of the fridge door the thing that held the door open. It was propped open with a giant golden bird's wing. It was attached to something crouching on top of the fridge, something huge. He looked up and he saw the creature was eating the meat. It had bird wings, the claws of a tiger, and a tail that looked like a snake. He was wrapped in white bandages, but on his neck, poking through them, it looked like there was a lion's mane. It was the most grotesque, most terrifying thing the security guard had ever seen. He didn't fire his gun. He didn't run. He didn't even have time to scream. The creature smiled.
Shark meat tastes more like steak than salmon. Isn't that interesting?
His teeth shifted, turning from human teeth to shark teeth.
I wonder what you taste like, omnivore.
The crime scene was a mess, and Ghostman was about to fall over from lack of sleep. He wished he had backup, but the other heroes were spread out, busy capturing villains who just broke out of superpowered prison. This would have to be a solo mission. And there were so many villains out, Ghostman thought he was wasting his time with this case. But then he saw the body. Even though it was covered in a sheet, he could see the messy stump where the arm was missing.
"Thanks for making it out here, Ghostman," the detective said. "Are those animal bites?" "Yes. The bites on his arm are from shark teeth."
Ghostman looked at the meat warehouse. He saw the security guards in custody, the ones that hadn't been killed.
"Are they under arrest?" Ghostman said. "Illegal meat trade. So much red tape we never would have found it if it wasn't for the murder. I should thank the guys, but they're dead."
So the guy was an environmental activist?
Hardly. He ate tiger meat, lion meat, shark meat, and we found bite marks on some old bones as well. If he was an activist, he had a funny way of showing it. Something strong enough to bite that hard. "I don't know," the detective said.
"I know. We're dealing with a super strong monster." Ghostman picked up the sheet lying over one of the bodies. He pulled it off. There were bite marks on every part of his body.
And this monster just got a taste of human flesh.
Ghostman went transparent. He flew through the fridges and out of the warehouse ceiling into the sky. When he was in ghost form, he could pass through anything in the material world, but only for 30 seconds a day. When he was transparent, no one could touch him. He went normal and landed on the roof of the warehouse.
"Come on out. I know you're up here,"
Ghostman said. Nothing. Ghostman sighed. His eyes glowed green. "I am the king of ghosts, and I demand you appear. You will obey me." He hated saying that, but it was the only thing they would listen to. Two ghosts in security guard uniforms came out of the shadows. "So, I hate to break it to you guys, but you're dead."
"We know. That thing ate us."
One of the guards was screaming in fear. Even in ghost form, his arm was missing. Bit off. The other guard looked angry. "Who did you work for? Illegal meat trade?" Ghostman said.
"I ain't talking," the security guard said.
"Yeah, I want my lawyer."
"No lawyer if we're dead, genius," the guard said.
"Does your contract really extend beyond the dead?" Ghostman said. "You won't go to the afterlife until you get revenge, and I'm the only one who can hear you." The security guard shook his head.
"I haven't been a rat my whole career, and I'm not about to start."
"We work for the normals,"
the shaking man said. The other security guard slapped him.
"Ow!"
Ghostman grimaced. "Does the man who killed you know that?" The security guard shrugged, looking away. "If you don't tell me, he'll kill again. Your bosses certainly wouldn't appreciate dying because you were too stubborn to talk."
"Fine," the stubborn guard said.
"He tortured it out of me. Freak had too many arms, wings like a bird. I thought all you freaks got killed off." Ghostman swallowed. He remembered when there were more heroes than villains once in the city. Those days were long gone. Just the good ones. Well, I can get revenge for you. You can move on to the afterlife. The stubborn ghost looked hopefully up at the sky. Ghostman shook his head and pointed down. The stubborn ghost sighed. Ghostman flew into the sky, high over Mega City. The Normals were the only gang in the city that didn't allow superpowered members. Even though they couldn't fight as well as villain gangs, they were persistent and managed to combine legitimate businesses with criminal trades villains didn't bother with, like illegal meats, for instance. For example, they owned the top-rated gourmet restaurant in the city, called Her Supple Flesh, and the rules applied at the restaurant. No superhumans allowed, so it was very popular. So it went that even though Ghostman was paid Society of Heroes money, he'd never eaten there before. He flew up outside the restaurant's huge panoramic windows overlooking the city and saw the creature inside, eating people, spattering blood on the bulletproof glass. He thought they might make an exception to their rule. Ghostman used telekinesis to burst through the window. As the seal of the restaurant burst, he heard the screaming. Rich clientele and mobsters, usually so untouchable up here in their glass tower, were on the floor, mixed with the meat and wine and fine food of their dining. Chunks of their flesh, their hands, their arms were missing. And there, in the middle of the biggest table at the center of the room, crouched a creature with 2 sets of wings, 6 arms, and 3 tails. It was eating a giant whale shark. Its skin was turning the color of the shark's. It was slowly growing in size, from 6 feet to 10 feet. "Ghostman!" Mr. Knox, the leader of the Normals with a chunk of flesh missing out of his leg, screamed. "Save us!" Ghostman shook his head. "You're lucky I'm not busy tonight." He used telekinesis to pick up 3 tables and throw them at the creature. But in a second, the creature jumped out of the way. It bounced off the ceiling and landed in front of Ghostman, purring like a cat.
"So much power. So little use of it," the creature said. "How many animals died because you didn't care, little hero?"
Ghostman rolled his eyes. "What, so you're vegan now? I see the blood of the raw steak on your face, genius," the creature roared.
"I must consume to become. It's an unfortunate reality of my existence. I hope the innocent souls of the world will forgive me, but you are not innocent, and you are not forgiven."
The creature beat his wings and flew at him faster than Ghostman thought possible. Ghostman went transparent as the creature tried to bite his chest, sending the creature tumbling through the restaurant. "Are you not from here or something?" Ghostman said. "Ghostman doesn't ring a bell for you?"
"Oh, you have a little name. Cute. What if I have a name, I wonder? What if my name is Carnivore Man? If I have a funny little name, does that make everything I do okay?" Ghostman grit his teeth. "You killed 2 people. That's not okay. And I'm going to kill more, Ghostman, until the capturing and killing of all the wondrous beasts of the world stops. So I think I'm going to kill until the end of time. Do you want to be my next victim?"
Carnivore Man's tail flicked. Ghostman looked down at it. It wasn't a tail. Carnivore Man slashed at Ghostman with his lion's claws. Ghostman went transparent and telekinesed a table to throw at him and attack him, but Carnivore Man's snake tail bit him in the arm, teeth sinking. Ghostman staggered back.
"Cobra poison, Ghostman. Best get to a hospital in 30 minutes or you'll be mighty dead."
The snake tail chewed at the piece of flesh it tore off Ghostman's arm. Carnivore Man floated, like Ghostman did. He flickered through a table towards the wall and played with telekinesis.
"Thanks for the powers. I'll put them to better use than you ever did."
"No!" Ghostman screamed. He fell to the ground, shaking. The poison locked his limbs. His arm felt like it was on fire. Carnivore Man ghosted through the wall and flew away. Ghostman lay on the ground, twitching. His arm burned with the cobra poison, and he cursed himself for being so stupid. No sleep for weeks, working too much, running around half-cocked like an idiot. And now, if Ghostman didn't do anything, he would die. This Carnivore Man was clearly more of a threat than he thought, and he should have waited before going in to confront him. But Ghostman wasn't making good decisions lately. He was so tired. And now he was totally screwed. Ghostman's body spasmed. He looked around the destroyed, bloody restaurant for anything he could use. He looked at the people bleeding on the ground. Criminals, some of them. But some of them were just normal people trying to have dinner. He failed everybody. He He failed. Medical staff were running over to the mob boss, Mr. Knox, wrapping his wounds in bandages. Mob doctors? Ghostman, Mr. Knox said. He waved at a man in a medical uniform. Don't help me, help Ghostman! And the mob doctor went to grab Ghostman, put him on a stretcher and elevated him down into the building, where a full hospital wing was in place. No, not me, Ghostman said, struggling through the poison. Help the other people. I just do what he pays me to do, dude, the mob doctor said. After the poison was out of his veins, Ghostman thought about what Carnivore Man had said, how he would save animals from capturing and killing. If they killed rare animals at this restaurant, then where did they capture them? They could get them from abroad, but there was also a source in the city. Ghostman's eyes widened. He knew where Carnivore Man was going. Mega City Zoo was a creepy place at night. No one had much patience for zoos anymore. The bars needed maintenance. The zookeepers were underpaid and few and far between. It wasn't hard for Carnivore Man to break the lions out of their cages. Ghostman landed in front of 4 lions, walking down the zoo parkway towards the city. If they got out, they would hurt people. His eyes glowed green. Easy there. He scanned the walls, the dark shadows of the zoo, for Carnivore Man. Nothing. The lions stalked, moved around Ghostman. 3 females and a 340-pound male, eyeing their prey. Ghostman put his arms out. He waited. The lions roared and pounced, but Ghostman used telekinesis to pick them up out of the sky. One of the cats said. He flew them back towards their cage and closed the door. The lions looked confused, violated. I know, I would be confused too, Ghostman said. Ghostman grabbed a steak from next to the cage and threw it to them. They started eating. You care about them, but you won't free them. Isn't it ironic? Carnivore Man said. Ghostman whirled around, but Carnivore Man was nowhere to be seen. Easy there. I'm gonna bring you in before you hurt anyone else. Who did I hurt? Ghostman went transparent as the snake tail almost bit his leg. He whirled around and telekinized the spotlight on the lion cage to Carnivore Man's position, but Carnivore Man wasn't there. I hurt some criminals in the illegal meat industry? Some mobsters and billionaire parasites? What happened to helping people, Ghostman? You should be working with me. Ghostman saw him. Carnivore Man slashed at Ghostman with tiger claws, but Ghostman went transparent under the ground before he could be hit. Ghostman flew out in the monkey cage. They went wild, screeching and throwing poop at each other at the unnatural man coming out of the ground. Carnivore Man went out from underground. He bit at Ghostman with his shark teeth and swung with his cobra tail, but Ghostman dodged every attack. If you do have my powers, you have to deal with the ghosts. Ghostman's eyes glowed. Every ghost in Mega City flew to Ghostman, broken souls with broken promises, waiting for revenge. Ghostman was used to it, but he hadn't been when he got his powers. It had only taken him years to not go insane. Carnivore Man grew larger. He roared. Tusks came out of his cheeks. He stabbed and muscled and struggled, but the ghosts kept coming, climbing all over him, screaming in his ear. The ghosts swirled around Carnivore Man, showing their miserable lives, their violent ends. It was too much for Carnivore Man. He roared. You might have my powers, Carnivore Man, but there can only be one king of ghosts. Ghostman's eyes glowed. He rose off the ground and pushed Carnivore Man down. And I am that king. There were thousands of ghosts around Carnivore Man now, blurring his vision, showing him their pain. Stop it, Carnivore Man said. He slashed out with all his might, but he couldn't hurt them. They were already dead. Ghostman used his telekinesis to pick up a giant jungle gem from the monkey cage and threw it towards Carnivore Man's face. Carnivore Man didn't see it. The ghosts were climbing all over him now, making him scream and cry. Dong. The jungle gem bounced off Carnivore Man's head, and he fell to the ground, unconscious. The ghosts dispersed. A few of them looked at Ghostman for a second. Ghostman nodded. Ghostman fell to his knees. He'd saved the day. His communicator beeped. I have Carnivore Man here at Mega City Zoo, ready for... He stopped. Someone else was in trouble. He sighed. He hadn't slept in almost 3 weeks. For a moment, he wanted to just sit there forever. Then Ghostman got up and flew towards the danger. Because that's what heroes do. They locked him in prison. Idiots. He pulled at his teeth as he walked down the hallway. They'd had him gagged with a machine against his tongue, so he couldn't tell lies. Hero killer robots, ones designed to take superpowered threats and end them, rushed into the chamber. I have unbreakable skin, the Lion God said. They attacked, broke their bones against Lion God's unbreakable skin. The Lion God chuckled. That was the thing. Every lie the Lion God told, it had a tendency to come true. 8 years ago, Jack was 6 years old. standing in line with 3 other children. One of them would go on to become the greatest hero in Mega City, but for now, their teacher was that hero. Mega Punch, 300 pounds of muscle in a red cape, put his hands out. "This isn't a school. We won't have lessons because we're at war." Jack looked over at the city wall, saw the hero killer robots trying to get into it, and in a flash of green and blue, he saw the heroes fighting against them. He cowered in fear.
Mega Punch, sir, we have to fight those things?
The hero killers were scary. Mega Punch clenched his teeth. "I wish you wouldn't have to, my boy. But if you don't help us, everyone will have to fight." The boy standing next to Jack chuckled. "I'm not afraid, Dad. I want to fight." Mega Punch hid a smile. Jack looked at Alexander, Mega Punch's son, with awe in his eyes. The girl standing next to him raised her hand. Mega Punch raised an eyebrow. "Now really isn't the time for questions, Sabrina." The girl with white hair faded in and out of view. She could turn invisible. Her dad was Ghostman, so that made sense. Both other kids had superpowered parents. The other kids. But Jack was alone. After the Lion God killed the rest of the hero killers, he stood at the bottom of the elevator. "I'm stronger than 100 men. I can fly," he said simply. Even though they were lies, they came true. He felt strength surge. He ripped the elevator door off its hinges like it was nothing. He flew up the elevator shaft. Alarms sounded everywhere. Alerts to Mega Punch, to Ghostman, to the Society of Heroes. But it didn't matter. Most of the heroes were dead. The Lion God stepped into the entrance of the supervillain prison, a building's unassuming lobby. Outside the window was sunlight. The first sunlight he'd seen in 2 years. He tried not to cry, but no one was around. So he did. "Stop! You're hurting me!" Alexander punched Jack in the face, knocking him into the dirt. Ghostman barked orders at them. "Hands up, Miracle Boy!" Jack tried to put his hands up, but Alexander was too fast. He flew up and punched Jack into the ground. Jack spit out blood onto the sand. "Can't cast spells if you can't speak, huh?" Jack's eyes glowed blue. "Your clothes are gone." Alexander's costume ripped away, showing his tighty-whitey underwear. Sabrina came out of invisibility and started laughing at him. Alexander flushed red and flew into the sky. Jack smiled, looking at Ghostman. Ghostman hid a laugh too, shaking his head. Mega Punch crashed into the training arena. His face was covered in blood. Ghostman ran towards him. Mega Punch spoke. "Wall broke. Heroes dead." Ghostman flew towards the wall. Jack gasped. Sabrina's eyes widened. Because coming through the wall were thousands of hero killer robots. Hero killers that would kill everyone Jack loved. The Lion God flew into the sky as the sun rose. He let the light wash away the prison stink on him. "I have a palace in the sky, guarded by demons of my own creation." Immediately a palace constructed. It was made of marble and gold and glass. It floated in the sky. Demons made of white marble bowed down to the Lion God as he stepped foot into his home. "I have beautiful maids to attend to me," the Lion God said. They appeared, smiling flirtatiously. The Lion God stepped up the marble staircase and fell into a marble cushion, the most comfortable chair he'd sat in his entire life. And he felt empty. Jack was going to die. The robot shot lasers down onto the training arena. Sabrina turned invisible. Alexander's eyes glowed golden, and he jumped into the sky, fighting the robots. "No!" Mega Punch reached out to him, but his son was fighting. Jack was shaking at his side. Mega Punch was supposed to never die, and he had red marks around his neck. Something was stronger than him. Something was choking him. No air? Is that how Mega Punch dies? Jack ran to his side. "What can I do, Mega Punch? How can I help?" Mega Punch coughed up blood. He looked up at the sky, helplessly. "Help, Alexander. I know you boys don't get along, but please, save my son." Jack looked up at the hero killer robots. One landed in front of him, 10 feet tall with glowing red eyes. "Mega Punch, threat level 10. Miracle Boy, threat level error. The hero killer shot lasers at Jack. He dove behind Mega Punch, whose unbreakable skin stopped the lasers. "Repeat after me." Jack hyperventilated. He screamed, "Please, it's the only way." Jack looked at Mega Punch. Aside him, Sabrina screamed. Hero killers grabbed her when she was invisible, pulling her little body apart. In seconds, they would rip her in half. "All the hero robots are bubbles." Jack struggled to speak. "All the hero robots are bubbles? The lion god's robes were on. He was fanned by his maids. Boom! Alexander, wearing his dead father's costume, crashed through the floor of the palace. Lion God, I'm bringing you in. The lion god chuckled. You. Sorry to do this, chum. A man in medical scrubs and glowing red eyes stepped out of a red portal. Sandus Caxus. The lion god tried to speak, but there was too much sand in his mouth. Sand was flowing into his throat, choking him. You're going down. From behind him, Ghostman phased through a wall with a collar in his hand. The collar he wore for 2 years. The collar that made it impossible for him to speak. The lion god dove to the ground as Ghostman put it onto his mouth. Jack opened his eyes. The noises stopped. Megapunch was still hurt, but he was smiling. Proud. You did it. Jack looked at the wall. The robot in front of him. They were gone. The only thing in front of him were bubbles floating to the sky. Alexander crashed into the ground. Dad, you... Megapunch hugged Jack. Jack was shocked. This whole time he thought he was the weakest, the worst hero. He didn't even have a superpowered dad. He didn't know who his parents were. But still, you saved us. Sabrina walked towards him, smiling. She was so cute, with her white hair. Jack blushed. But that's not fair, Alexander said. He just... You did well, son. But Jack has the most power I've ever seen from a serum-born hero. Every lie he tells comes true, apparently. Heroes flew in from everywhere. Ghostman, Ocean Man, Dr. Insane. Megapunch put Jack on his shoulders. They cheered for him. The war was over. Alexander's eyes glowed with hate. The lion god scrambled across the floor of his palace. The sand was flowing everywhere out of his mouth. Grab him, Ghostman said. Alexander flew after the lion god. A demon jumped onto him, but Alexander smashed the marble into nothing. He was stronger than he was back then. So much stronger. The lion god spit the last of the sand out. No! Ghostman, Dr. Insane, and Alexander are... The lion god remembered. He remembered being a hero. Being lifted on Megapunch's shoulders. Being loved. Boom! Alexander hit the lion god in the face. He smashed through his sky palace, tore through the sky, and slammed into the ground, pushing buildings and concrete and skyscrapers up towards the sky. He had unbreakable skin, but that hurt. He'd only been hit like that once before. The heroes were relaxing. Music was playing. There was no war to fight anymore. It was won. Jack drank disgusting bubbly juice. Hey! Who gave you that champagne? Ghostman went over to him, but Jack drank the drink. He smirked. Ghostman shook his head. Megapunch walked over, smiling. Give him a break, Ghosty. As a matter of fact, Megapunch put a spoon against his champagne glass. The heroes went silent, smiling at him. I want to thank someone, because I did not win this war. The crowd booed and laughed, but Megapunch shook his head. I didn't. I want to thank my student. One who I chose to train because the enemy was at our gates, and we had no other choice. The student who saved us all. Jack saw Alexander perk up in the crowd, smiling. Megapunch looked at Alexander, then sighed. He turned to Jack. Please, a round of applause for Miracle Boy! The heroes cheered for Jack. Even Ghostman clapped. Alexander's eyes glowed. Jack smiled. Megapunch put him back on his shoulders. Without him, we surely would have... No! Alexander flew up and punched Jack in the face, sending him falling onto the ground. Jack bled onto the tiles. He gasped. He's not that strong! Look, I beat him! Alexander said. Alexander, that's enough! Alexander flew towards Jack. Jack's eyes glowed blue. He'd seen something. A weakness Megapunch and Alexander shared. The one thing that could stop them. Alexander can't breathe, Jack said. Alexander choked. He fell to the ground. Strength sapped away. He was gasping. The power left his eyes. Dr. Insane ran to him. Axaxel, give me a smell! You can't stop it, Ghostman said. Megapunch grabbed Jack by the shirt. Reverse the magic, Jack. Why should I? He hurt me. Megapunch's eyes glowed. Do it right now, or I'll smash you into the ground before you can speak. Right now! Alexander's face turned purple. He was dying. Jack smiled a little, thinking about that. He saw Sabrina run to Alexander, crying. Alexander can breathe again, Jack said. Alexander gasped for air. Jack turned to Megapunch. I'm sorry! Phoom! Megapunch smashed Jack into the ground. His ribs cracked. You have too much power. I'm sorry. I'm far away! Pop. Jack could barely say the words to heal himself. He could barely hide himself in time. Jack sat crying on a skyscraper, watching the heroes look for him, for a villain the newspapers were calling the Lying God. He thought about how he trusted Megapunch, how Megapunch almost killed him, and he vowed that he would never, ever trust anyone again. He would never be weak, ever again. The Lion God stumbled into the sewers, far away from where he crash landed, and still he was mumbling, "Never weak, never, ever again." A place in the city that no one goes, but what's strange is it looks so inviting. Groomed green parks, comfortable wooden benches, statues made of solid gold. Every 3 days they make it better. Sidewalks replaced, parks replanted, bushes cut, all to make the park more beautiful. But still, no one goes there, even though the grass is inviting. Even though the statues are worth thousands of dollars and are unguarded, no one goes there. But one day, a girl named Lena walks into it. She didn't think about why no one goes there. She didn't think about how dangerous the city was, how worried her family were when she said she was visiting Mega City. She walked towards the park and lay down on the grass next to a statue of a confident, muscular man with his chest towards the horizon. Megapunch, the statue said. There was no other description, just the name. Lena was nervous. Everyone knew who Megapunch was, most famous man on Earth. Everyone thought he would live forever, but he died last month. Maybe coming here wasn't the best idea.
What are you doing?
A mother dragged her 3-year-old daughter into the park, yelling at Lena, who had just started to lay down. Lena was confused. What? Is it not allowed? The mother just grabbed her hand and started pulling.
Just come on.
She pulled her towards the sidewalk, away from the park. Lena resisted, confused, but then the mother looked at her.
Please, it's life and death.
Lena got chills. What was happening? Lena changed her tone. She started walking, almost running with the mom and daughter towards the gate.
I'm sorry, I'm not from here,
They make it out of the park, onto the street. The mother sighed, picking up her daughter.
You see that building up there?
She gestured to the beautiful skyscraper above them, above all the others, at the center of the park.
That's where superheroes live.
Boom! The loudest noise Lena had ever heard. A flash of blue and red, and then blood. The park turned the color of blood. Lena didn't have time to scream before she saw black. Lena asked herself, am I dead? But then she saw a white hand holding her arm. Green force glowed around her body. She was floating through the earth? She fell into a sewer. It was dark. The mom was screaming.
You killed her! You killed her!
A man in a white suit and dark sunglasses let go of their hands. Lena had seen him on TV before. Ghost Man. He looked confident on TV, but now he looked concerned. He looked down at her legs. She looked where he looked. Her legs were broken, twisted, so bad she could see bones peeking out. The mother screamed, covered in red.
Did you hear what I said? You killed her!
It's going to be okay. Ghostman tried to comfort Lena. He tried to smile, but he couldn't quite manage it. She could see under his sunglasses. It looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. I'm going to get you out of this, Ghostman said. High above them, an explosion boomed. It sounded like the world was ending. My associate is handling the villain threat. Don't worry, he can't hurt you down here. Now it was clear to Lena why the place was always so freshly maintained, why the garden was constantly replaced. Because it always gets destroyed by villains. Never should have ever come here. Ghostman's eyes glowed green. It was the first time she saw it, in the flesh. Superpowers. It didn't seem cool and exciting like it did on TV. The guy's eyes were glowing. He put his hand out, lifting Lena out of the sewer water. Lena breathed fast. She was floating in the air. He was making her float in the air with his mind. Ghostman spoke into his earpiece. Dr. Insane, I've got a casualty that needs medical attention. She's alive but losing a lot of blood. Something warm trickled down Lena's leg, dropping into the water. She started breathing faster. The water wasn't warm. The warmth was from something else. Ghostman looked at her legs, concerned. Please, hurry. As Lena sunk deeper and deeper into shock, she heard the mother scream at the man in the suit.
You call yourselves superheroes, but we know the truth. Why don't you just go away? No one wants you here.
Ma'am, Cyber Shriek attacked Society of Heroes headquarters and He kept talking, but Lena couldn't hear him. The pain hit her like a freight train. It felt like every part of her skin, her legs, her body was lit on fire. And all the while, the mom kept screaming.
Did you hear what I said? We hate you, Ghost Man! We hate you!
The alarm beeped, louder and louder and louder. Jason didn't want to go to work today. He tried to keep his eyes closed 1 second longer, but the alarm kept beeping. Jason opened his eyes, revealing his disgusting, tiny apartment. He sighed. He brushed his teeth, looking at himself in the foggy, toothbrush-stained mirror. His feet hurt. He hadn't slept enough. He looked into his own eyes in the mirror. How did he get to this point in his life? Daddy? Jason changed his expression in an instant. Hi, sweetie. His daughter, Jessie, was the only reason he was alive. Her mom was gone. Jason's parents were hung over in a trailer park somewhere. But Jason had Jessie, and Jason would never let her down. She was the happiest, most beautiful little girl in the world. Are you ready for school? Yeah, Dad. Great. He kissed her on the head. Ew! I'll see you at 3. Don't miss the bus. Bye, Dad. Jason smiled as she left the apartment. He made sure to keep the smile on until she left. He hoped she would get onto the bus safe. He hoped the friends she had at school were nice to her. He hoped. But he didn't have time to hope anymore. He had to make money. Jason put his blue vest on and sighed. Just 8 hours. 8 hours and he could leave. And Jessie would be home again. Mega Fresh Grocery Store was a great way to get fresh produce at affordable prices. It was also a nightmare and a graveyard of broken dreams for everyone who worked there. Long hours, low pay, but it was a job, and Jason had a daughter. He scanned old people's groceries. He would be doing this for the next 8 hours. Beep, 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 have a nice day. Beep, 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 have a nice day. Clunk. A gold bar clattered onto the checkout counter. It was worth over $100,000. Jason looked up. A handsome blonde man in ripped robes smiled at him. He was familiar. Had Jason seen him before? The other cashiers, everyone at the store, they were terrified, staring at them. Do you want to buy something? The handsome man smiled, like the question was funny. No. What? Jason looked at the man's hands. Wrapped around his wrists were bracelets made of bones. What are you? Everyone in the store except me can't move. Jason froze. He tried to turn around, run for his manager, call someone, but he couldn't move, just like the man said. Somehow the words the man said came true. Hey, Patreon alligator, not now. No, the people need to know. Need to know what? Jake posts 1 extra video every week on Patreon. Learn full lore, character origins, world building, over an hour of content for $7 a month. Are you done? No, for $35 a month, you can read the scripts the moment Jake finishes them. And if you pay $1,000 a month, Jake will help you with whatever creative project you're working on. Except your Wattpad smut, you disgusting degenerate. Okay, that's enough. Back to the video. Link below. The blonde man stepped onto Jason's counter. All of you do everything I say. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a command. It was a lie. But somehow, as soon as he said it, it came true. You dance around like monkeys. Jason's body jerked like a puppet. He couldn't control it. Jason started dancing, swinging his arms over his head. He had no choice at all. The man laughed. Oh, I miss this. Jason's eyes widened in fear, but his body never stopped dancing. He was moving faster, like a broken puppet. An old woman dancing in the crowd grunted in pain. Her body couldn't handle the dance, but she still danced. You stopped dancing. Jason stopped. The old woman collapsed onto the ground. She wasn't moving. Now. He put out his bone-wrapped hands over the crowd. Jason thought they were animal bones, but he recognized finger bones there. Human finger bones. You wear the uniforms I like. Jason's blue vest melted away, shifting, turning into a bizarre purple and red medieval servant's outfit. Even though he hated his work uniform, this was worse. So much worse. Jason still couldn't move. He was trapped by some weird magic. The man's lies that came true. It was ironclad. Universal laws written for fun. What was happening? I can fly, the handsome man said. Jason's eyes widened as the man flew above the aisles, looking down on the frozen crowd of early morning shoppers, now dressed in medieval servants' outfits. The blonde man floated above the aisles, chuckling. Now, repeat after me. All hail the Lion God. And Jason had no choice. All hail the Lion God? Jason's heart pounded. Superheroes and supervillains were something he saw on the news. Supervillain attacks were something he got numb to and prayed never happened within 10 miles of him. But Jason's prayers hadn't been answered. Like it or not,
He was living in the Lion God's world now. If he died, Jesse would go into foster care. And the hate he always had for this unfair world where people fly above him and Jason gets crushed, the hate he had before Jesse was born, it all came flooding back. Jason hated superheroes with every fiber of his heart. You, the Lion God pointed at him. Come up here. Jason floated off the ground into the air above the grocery store. Like it or not, the life Jason had, his normal life was over, and he would never, ever get it back. Jason only hated more as he floated above aisle 12, in front of the villain. He was trapped, immobilized by his force, looking into the Lion God's eyes. The Lion God was just a kid, no more than 18. You, tell me the truth about the entrances and exits to this place. Jason wanted to fight, but he told him. And you tell me about any rats that would report me to the authorities. Jason thought about his manager, Mr. Flores, now cowering next to the front register in his medieval clothes. He'd probably called the authorities already, who would have put the call up the chain of command to the people who deal with this sort of thing. The Society of Heroes. Jason hated them even more. Society of Late was more like what they were. Jason knew Mr. Flores had called. His lips wanted to move to obey the Lion God's command. He remembered meeting Mr. Flores' little son once. He was only a few years older than Jesse. Every part of his body wanted to rat on Mr. Flores, but he fought it. He had to answer his question, but rats. The Lion God had used the word rats. Something about the way he said it, the way the power affected him, gave Jason a loophole. Jason could tell the truth and keep Mr. Flores safe. There are no rats who will call the authorities. The Lion God raised an eyebrow. Really? He clearly didn't doubt his abilities. He trusted Jason immediately. Yes, no rats work here. The Lion God looked confused. Rats. Dumb. He should know the limits of his powers. If Jason had the Lion God's powers, he would be rich, and Jessie would get every toy she wanted. He looked at the puzzling psychopath with bones on his wrists and felt a wave of sadness. Tears welled in the corner of his eyes. He thought about Jessie. Would he ever see her again? But then he pushed the tears down. He had to fight. Jason floated in the air. He moved his mouth, then realized he could speak. Sir? Jason said. If the Lion God found out he lied to him just then, he was dead. He had to keep going. The Lion God turned around. What? I can, Seeing the intensity of his gaze, Jason wanted to tell him everything, to do anything he could just so he didn't die. But then, the hatred, how much he hated superheroes, stopped him. Nothing. The Lion God groaned. Never mind. This power of mine can be pesky sometimes. And Jason exhaled, relieved. Somehow, some way, he could trick this superpowered monster. And if he could, it meant there was hope. Just a little. There's a floating throne above the grocery store, comfortable enough for me to sit on. Workers, old people, all cower in fear. All the exits are replaced by reinforced doors. The store is fortified for a siege, and there's no way in or out except the front door. The grocery store doors changed to bulletproof ones, like at a bank. Poof. Every lie the Lion God told, everything he said came true. A platform appeared with a luxurious throne. Jason, a normal worker at the store, a worker whose hatred of superheroes has never been higher, floated in the air next to the Lion God, completely powerless. Jason was thinking about his daughter, Jessie, how this maniac was going to kill him, and she would be all alone in the world. The Lion God smiled. He sat on his throne. Now, act like the footstool you are. Jason's body jerked. He moved like a puppet. He went onto his hands and knees. The Lion God put his legs on his back, using him as a footstool. Jason burned with rage. If he ever got out of this, he was taking his daughter Jessie and moving away. It's good to be free. The Lion God lounged. His feet dug into Jason's back. The Lion God looked over at everyone in the store. Workers and shoppers before, now all wearing humiliating costumes he liked. He smiled. If Jason had the chance, he would run. Far away. As soon as he thought this, one of the workers got to his feet and ran for the exits. Clem. Sweet kid, but not that bright. Jason had to show him how to use the scanner 6 times. And they think they can still defy me. Clem sprinted towards the door as fast as he could. The boy over there has a heart attack. Clem fell to the ground, screaming. Jason closed his eyes in terror. Everything the Lion God said was true, and he wanted to run. He listened to the boy die. He knew now what he suspected. The lion god wouldn't let them escape. Superheroes weren't coming, and Jason was totally, completely screwed. Wait, Jason said. Save his life, please? The lion god chuckled. No, I'll tell you something about the store that you need to know, if you do. The lion god's eyes narrowed. And what if I torture the information out of you? You normals are so dumb. Clem screamed out in pain. He clutched his chest. The other prisoners tried not to look at him. Why were they so weak? Why was the world so unfair? You don't know what I know, Jason said. And trust me, you're gonna need it. Clem was jerking in pain, but the lion god adjusted his feet on Jason's back, digging into his spine. Fine, speak. There's a tunnel under the store. Maintenance, connected to the sewer. Lion god chuckled. Good, now watch your friend die. Jason felt betrayed. He burned with rage. I didn't tell you where the tunnel was. The lion god rolled his eyes. Fine, the boy over there's heart is the healthiest and strongest on earth. Immediately, Clem stopped screaming. He rose hesitantly to his feet and looked up at Jason's platform. Jason made eye contact with him. He shook his head. Don't run, you idiot. Jason grit his teeth. If he ever got out of here, he didn't care how dangerous it was outside the city. He was taking his daughter Jessie and getting far away from this place, to a place supervillains would never go. Because looking at Clem getting shakily down onto his knees, Jason knew the truth. These superpowered monsters didn't care about human life. Not at all. As his body screamed out in pain from being the lion god's footstool, Jason tried to remember everything he could about the lion god. Jason hated superheroes so much, but he remembered reading something about how the Society of Heroes beat him. Something about how they had to surprise him. That the lion god can make anything happen, but he has to be aware that something is happening to stop it. They attacked him when he was asleep, so he couldn't tell lies to kill his attackers. They also said something about how the lion god's magic was very literal. Everything he said happened exactly how he said it. Footstool, Jason started. Adrenaline pumped in his veins. He remembered one more thing. Before they caught him, the lion god killed thousands of people. What's your name? Kyle Bassinger, his childhood friend. Jason played baseball with him, but still, the magic was tied to words. If the lion god didn't know his name, well, Kyle Bassinger, then why does your name tag say Jason? Jason panicked. The lion god chuckled. Were you lying about the tunnel too? It would be so easy for me, to give you a heart attack too. Do you want one? Jason stressed. He could die. Jessie would come home to no father. The world at its end, at the mercy of this maniac. He shouldn't have lied. Stupid. Tell me, Mr. Jason, what do you think of all this? You will tell me the truth. The whole truth, or your head will explode. Jason felt a pressure at the base of his skull. He felt it when the lion god came into the room. Felt it when he changed his clothes to make him his servant. But now the pressure was real. Jason would die if he lied to him. Good boy. And Jason felt the hate rising in him. He wanted to kill the lion god. He wanted to kill every superhero in the world until no one was left but him and Jessie. But he couldn't. Tell me, Jason, what do you think of all this? The pressure in his skull buzzed. Don't lie to me, Jason. I think it's horrible. I think you're gonna kill us all, and I'm terrified. Jason tried to cover his mouth, but he couldn't. The lion god adjusted his feet on Jason's back, which hurt him even more. Jason looked over at the lion god, who was less than pleased. Kill you all? How uninspired. It would be easy for me. I just have to say Jason and all his friends and family are... Please, no. He hated that he had to beg. Hated it. But his daughter was the only thing he had to live for. He would lick this murderous superhero's feet clean if it meant she could live. The lion god laughed. No, of course not. Why would I play with my favorite footstool? Let me let you in on a little secret, Jason. I could do anything. I built a palace in the sky this morning. I could travel to other planets. I could lift a mountain over my head. I will never die, will never lose my mind, and will look young and handsome like this forever. As he said these things, his eyes glowed. Power radiated off his body. The lies came true. But I don't care about those things. Do you want to know why? The pressure buzzed in Jason's skull. If he lied, he would die. Yes. No. Whatever answer means I stay alive. The lion god hesitated. He looked at Jason with genuine curiosity. What's the point of being alive if you're not special? Jason hated heroes even more than he did. Because the lion god was right. He was special. He could kill Jason for fun, and Jason couldn't do anything about it. Jason braced himself for the lion god to kill him, but he didn't.
I'll tell you why. Because the only thing that matters isn't power or stupid things like revenge. No, the only thing that matters is other people. And if other people can't see you, nothing you do matters.
Jason didn't understand what he said, but he felt like the man wasn't crazy. Maybe Jason could get out of this alive. Maybe.
Jesters, at attention.
Hey. Not now, Patreon alligator. The story's getting good.
No, you have to tell them that they can watch an extra video every single week for $7 a month.
$7 a month? I mean, that's kind of expensive.
And they can read the scripts of future videos before they get released for $35 a month.
Okay.
For $1,000 a month, they can work on a creative project of their choice with you. You can even write someone's best man speech.
I don't want to write a best man speech.
That's an amazing deal.
I'm sorry about him. Let's get back to it. Everyone in the crowd, the workers, the people stood. They looked uncomfortable in their medieval uniforms the lion god had generated for them.
You will now entertain me. You two, step forward.
He pointed to Jason's coworker, Max, and Mr. Flores, his manager. They stepped forward out of the crowd. Both of them looked terrified.
You fight each other to the death.
It happened faster than Jason could have imagined. Max punched Mr. Flores in the face. He was punching him with all the strength he had, with no regard for the safety of his body, of his hand. Jason wished he could punch the lion god with all that power, but he couldn't move. Besides, as soon as he did that, he would die, and Jesse would be all alone. Max cried out in pain. He broke his hand trying to punch Mr. Flores as hard as possible, sending him sprawling against the tile. Mr. Flores picked up a shovel from the gardening section and swung it at Max's head. He barely dodged, the shovel cutting his neck and sending blood dripping onto the floor. Max held the wound in his neck and tried to crawl away from Mr. Flores.
No, please,
Max screamed. I'm sorry, I can't control it, Mr. Flores said.
Cheer for them, you idiots.
The lion god laughed. Jason and the other people cheered for the fight. Jason remembered meeting Max, talking to him about covering his shifts. He was cool. Max had said he was going to work at Mega Fresh grocery store for 3 months. That was 2 years ago. Mr. Flores swung his shovel down at Max's face, but then something strange happened. Max melted into the floor. Jason's blood went cold. The superheroes were here.
No fair,
the lion god screamed. Ghost Man breaks every bone in his Cthulhu. The entire room exploded. Jason was in a car accident when he was a kid. He remembered getting flung around, losing control. It was terrifying. This was 100 times worse than that. Jason was flying through the store, spinning and chaotic. He screamed, "Ugh!" Jason landed in the bread aisle. Bread is less comfortable when you fly into it at 60 miles per hour. Jason got up to his feet. He looked back where the lion god was turned over on the ground. A floating silhouette with a cape flew out of the rubble, revealing a teenage superhero in bright colors. Oh no. Of all the superheroes Jason knew, this was the one he was most afraid of. Not him. Anyone but him. You're going back to jail, lion god, the boy said.
I have every single power you have,
the lion god said. The boy's eyes widened. No, wait! The grocery store exploded. Jason started crawling from the bread aisle towards the exit. Boom. Cthulhu. It didn't sound like superheroes fighting. It sounded like the end of the world. Jason! Jason! Mr. Flores was screaming, trapped under a fallen shelf. Jason looked towards the door. Even though it was reinforced steel, it was open. There was a side entrance. He could make it out, maybe. See Jesse. Boom. The store lit on fire. People screamed, "Please, Jason!" He couldn't leave him. Jason looked at the door one last time, then crawled toward Mr. Flores. The front of the store exploded. The lion god's arm stretched out, pushing the boy into the wall right in front of them. Jason flattened to the ground. He hyperventilated. How many powers did these people have? People were dying. He was going to die. He made it to Mr. Flores and pushed as hard as he could against the shelf. It wouldn't budge. He grabbed Mr. Flores' hand and pulled as hard as he could. Nothing.
Unbreakable skin, stretching my body shape to anything I can imagine.
A black hole opened in the lion god's chest. The power of a black hole in my chest? I think I found a new home, you insect.
The boy superhero tried to fly away, but the lion god grabbed him and crushed his arms to his body. Jason bent under the shelf and pushed. Mr. Flores crawled out from under it.
Thank you. Let's go.
He pulled Jason to the door, but Jason saw the lion god crushing the kid.
He's going to die, Jason said. Who cares? Run, Mr. Flores said. No.
He pushed Mr. Flores away. Mr. Flores ran to the exit. The boy was getting crushed, bleeding out of his nose and mouth.
Hey, footstool, pick on someone your own size.
The lion god turned around. He dropped the boy on the ground and faced Jason.
I knew you normals were stupid, but
Jason's blood boiled.
Normals? I'm just like you.
The lion god scoffed.
You're just like me. Sure you are.
Immediately, Jason felt the power surge through him. The lion god's power. The power of a god. His eyes glowed blue. The power doesn't care who speaks. It only cares that the lie is heard.
You have a heart attack!
Jason screamed. The lion god fell to the ground, gasping for air. Jason kneeled over him. The power surged through his veins. He was incredibly strong, but the only thing he wanted to do was torture him. His eyes glowed blue.
Look at me as you die, freak. You think you're better than me?
Jason put his foot on the lion god's gasping chest, but then the boy's voice sounded, weak, searching.
Don't do it. You're not a killer. You're not like him.
Jason saw it. He saw his future. He could be exactly like the lion god. Exactly like him. Jason sighed.
You're alive.
The lion god gasped for air, breathing in. His eyes glowed blue. Jason struggled to speak when the lion god fell into a portal of red energy, disappearing into the floor. Out of a portal, a golden-haired doctor with red eyes and a man in a white suit walked out and checked on the boy. Well, the Alpha Centauri dimension should hold him for a bit. I hope he likes flying long distances.
What if he can lie himself back? Ghostman said.
I doubt it. No oxygen in that system, Dr. Insane said. Jason had seen them on the news.
Ghostman? Dr. Insane?
He's looking pretty bad. He looked at Jason.
You mind giving us a hand?
Jason hated superheroes. The boy was dying in front of him. It would be so easy to just make one less. But he was just a kid, just like Jesse. Jason sighed.
The kid's as good as new. Healthy.
The boy opened his eyes.
You were right. I'm not a killer.
Alexander gasped for air. Lion God? Is he? I sent him to another galaxy. You're safe. Jason smiled.
It's all right. Your friends dealt with him.
The man in the white suit turned to him. Those reality manipulation powers are pretty formidable. Lion God could do a lot of good if he was a good man like you. Ghostman put his hand out to Jason. Interested in joining us? Jason thought about it.
I can do anything with these powers?
Anything?
Within reason. Why don't you use it to help us? Help people.
Jason smiled.
One condition.
Jesse smiled and ran around their new apartment. It's so much better than our old place, Dad. It's so big. Jason smiled. He'd been working so hard for so long to provide for her, and now suddenly his daughter had everything he wanted. He could create anything for her. Jason had already made a trust fund of millions of dollars in her name. He could help out his parents. He could change the world. Jesse laughed. But for now, this was enough.
Hope she likes it,
Ghostman said. Jason smiled.
She will.
His eyes sparked blue. There's so much good I want to do with these powers. So many people I want to help. Ghostman sighed.
If it were up to me, you would do it.
Jason's eyes widened, but it was too late. Ghostman went transparent, passed through Jason, and locked a device around Jason's mouth. Jesse screamed, Daddy! Jason's eyes sparked blue, but Ghostman restrained him.
But the way you can help people the most is by staying down in Floor 13 prison. Reality-altering powers are just too dangerous. You understand.
Jason screamed against the device, but the device enclosed around his tongue. Ghostman sighed.
I should really cut your tongue out, but I can't bring myself to do that.
Jesse screamed and ran for Jason, but the boy's superhero arrived, holding her back. Jason tried to make eye contact with him, plead for him to save him, but Alexander didn't look at him. His face was as cold as stone.
I'll make sure your daughter is taken care of.
Jason's face went hot with rage. He struggled against the mouth restraint.